close to the line. We are going to go on air, or at least digital-wise for now, to give everybody a little bit of a heads up. So zooming in a little bit closer, right now there are no active warnings within the state of Alabama right now. But we are closely monitoring these storms about to push through parts of Macon, Mississippi, Starkville, Mississippi, Columbus, Mississippi. That will eventually be in the northern portions of Pickens County, or really almost the entire county from Benevola all the way up to Reform, Gordo, Pickensville, Lake Aliceville. You just need to be weather aware. As of right now, there are no active plans to extend these warnings into the state, but it is certainly something that bears watching. And further off to the east, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham. Birmingham right now, you're just limits that are moving through the Birmingham Metro all the way maybe as far south as parts of Centerville, Brent, Jemison, and Chilton County. All of those storms are remaining below severe limits. We're just keeping a very close eye on these storms that are about to enter the state, pushing through parts of Mississippi. So I would say Aliceville, Lake Aliceville, Pickensville, right on the Mississippi-Alabama state line. You probably need to go ahead and get in your safe place. This line is moving fairly fast. Tornado warnings are spanning really from all the way north down to south with this entire line. And we'll take a little bit closer look at that. You can see all the way just north of Starkville down to Laurel, Mississippi. These tornado warnings are spanning that entire length. Several counties are included in this, but no active warnings within the state of Alabama right now. But just know we will go on air on television if a warning were to be issued. We do have Chief Meteorologist James Spann in the building with us right now, getting mic'd up. Right now, since there are no active warnings in the state, we are going to remain digital for the time being. Now, right now, the main focus is Pickens County and maybe the extreme northern portions of Greene County and potentially Hale counties and Sumter counties. You probably need to go ahead and get in your safe place. Probably within the next 20-25 minutes, this line will be approaching the state line. But just remember, right now, the main area of focus is Pickens County. Pretty much the entire county has the potential to see a brief spin up as this line moves into the state. That's all the way from Benevola in the extreme southeastern portions near the Greene County and Sipsey River area, all the way up to the northern parts along Highway 82, Lake Aliceville, Pickensville along the line as well. But just remember, the further east you go, parts of Coleman County, Blount County, Jefferson, Shelby, Chilton County, they're just seeing some light showers right now. Even this stronger looking storm, this is about near Linden in Marengo County, it is staying below severe limits. It might be loud, but there's no active warnings on any storm within the state right now. But we are still in communication with the National Weather Service about the potential for a few maybe tornado warnings as this line pushes its way through. But just remember, we're going to go back and take a look at that tornado watch area one more time. A good chunk of central and western Alabama is in this tornado watch. It will go until 4 a.m. as far east as Talladega counties, all the way to the west along this line where all of these warnings are right now. And we just had a severe thunderstorm warning for Lowndes County, Mississippi. That is a border county with parts of Lamar and Pickens County. But just know there are no current active warnings within the state right now, but they are getting close enough that we are going to remain on air on the digital side just for the time being until we get active warnings within the state. We're going to take another closer look at this line as it starts to move its way closer to the state, sort of taking a northeast track, but still I would say most of Pickens County just needs to be weather aware. From the extreme southern portions along the Sipsey River to as far north as the Lamar-Fayette County lines, you just need to be weather aware. And that's going to be the thing overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. The further east you go, all of these storms have the potential to spin up a few tornadoes. But aside from that, you need to treat severe thunderstorm warnings as if they are tornado warnings, because straight line winds can cause just as much damage as a tornado. James, would you like to step in?
Yeah, let's swap here.
Right.
What we're going to do is swap just a little bit. And again, Riley and I will be here through the duration of this event as we have, obviously, the line of severe storms approaching the island. So let me step out one more moment. We're going to get everything set up here. And again, right now we're just only on the social and the digital side. We're not on television. If we need to do that, and if you're watching us with two screens, and most people do, you can watch the rest of the Alamo Bowl on the ESPN app on your phone, tablet, or their website, which is a nice option to see that. So again, if you're concerned about missing the end of that football game, you can watch the ESPN app, phone, tablet, or the ESPN website. So, and again, let me just say this. The Weather Service in Jackson, their theory on this, they've been basically blanketing the entire line with tornado warnings. The Weather Service in Birmingham, they will not do that. There's just a different culture. I'm not saying who's right or who's wrong here, but what the Weather Service in Birmingham will do, most likely they'll be shifting from all these blanket tornado warnings to severe thunderstorm warnings. And I think that's the right call. But having said that, this line will be capable of producing a lot of tree and power line damage tonight as it comes across the state. And we would recommend, based on the dynamics of this system, that you treat a severe thunderstorm warning basically like you would treat a tornado warning in terms of what you do, because there's a chance you're going to see some falling trees with this line. So let's put the reflectivity back on, Riley. That's the velocity display. We'll go back to the reflectivity, which is kind of the big picture. And again, this line here, it's very solid. And again, within it, yes, there could be a few brief isolated tornadoes, but the main concern for Alabama, not tornadoes, but damaging straight line wind. And I say this all the time, but it's true. If a tree is going to fall on your house, does it matter if it's a tornado or straight line winds? It really doesn't. You just need to be in a safe place. So in terms of the timing here, the storm should be on the state line about 9:15. And so soon the Weather Service in Birmingham will be posting tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings for the western counties of the state. I would suggest that line will be in the Birmingham Metro sometime around midnight, 1 a.m. And then for Anniston, Gadsden, East Alabama, sometime around 2, 3 a.m., something like that. This will move through the state very quickly. The positive is that we don't have a lot of surface-based instability, which is good. However, I've seen this a million times here. I'm an old guy, and I've seen a lot of stuff here, but the dynamics can overcome the marginal thermodynamic fields we have. So again, this thing will pack a punch, and again, the main concern, it's going to be a lot of straight line wind, possibly enough in some cases to knock down trees and power lines. And again, we want to stress we have no active warnings anywhere in Alabama, but we're about to have a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings here for these western counties of the state. So again, if you're in places like Vernon, Sulligent, Millport, Kennedy, Reform, Gordo, Carrollton, Aliceville, York, Livingston, you'll deal with it first. Hamilton, Hackleburg. Then it will progress on through the state. And understand the whole state has a chance of severe storms tonight. This is not, one of the things that we deal with on the social channels. People they want to ask, what about my town? What about my town? What about my town? What about my town? Everybody, doesn't matter what town you live in, statewide, all 67 Alabama counties with a risk of severe storms. Riley, let's pop on that tornado watch real quick. And again, even though the watch is not in effect for some of the eastern counties, you've got a chance of strong to severe storms too well after midnight. It's just that it's going to take a while to get here. Anniston, Gadsden, you are not in this watch. Ashland, Lineville, Rockford, Alexander City, you'll probably have some type of watch after midnight tonight as the storms approach you. The watch does include all the counties in yellow here. That, of course, would include Jefferson, Shelby, St. Clair, Blount. Possibility of a few embedded tornadoes within the line. But traditionally, when you see a long line of storms like this, the problem is not going to be tornadoes, but damaging straight line winds. So let's pop the radar back up. And again, we're live here at 8:54, and we are not on television. And quite frankly, with the ability to do this on the digital and social side, we can reach just as many people this way as traditional television. But understand there's a lot of people that do watch TV that don't have this capability. And if we have a tornado warning, we'll have to go on the television side. And again, just a quick note, if you are watching with two screens, you've got your phone watching us in one hand, you're watching the football game on your big screen. If we have to cut off that football game, you can watch that on the ESPN app, on your phone or tablet or the ESPN website. And again, you see all these tornado warnings, and I know that's kind of a terrifying look if you're in, say, Sumter or Pickens or Greene or Lamar counties here, or Choctaw. But it's just a different philosophy. The Weather Service in Jackson, they're responsible for these counties in Mississippi. They just decided to do this. They just broad brushed the whole line with tornado warnings. The Weather Service in Birmingham, they have a different culture, and they're not going to do that. They're going to go with severe thunderstorm warnings. And if there's a well-defined circulation, absolutely they'll post a tornado warning. But if there's not, they won't. So I think what's going to happen here, you're going to see all of these warnings shift from a tornado warning to a severe thunderstorm warning for these western counties of the state with that QLCS. That's a fancy word for squall line, quasi-linear convective system. Who came up with that? Is that your idea, Riley?
I try to make it as easy as possible. I barely knew what quasi-linear was when I got to college.
It's like when I was coming up, it was a squall line, but now it's a QLCS. And I will say these are hard to deal with. And, you know, again, looking at the line here, we'll watch the velocity display, but again, I think the right thing to do is to go with severe thunderstorm warnings in this case, unless you see something really well defined. But it's like whack-a-mole. Sometimes a tornado gets down for a minute or two, the warning goes out, the tornado's already back up. We don't expect these violent long track tornadoes. We had some of those earlier today down in parts of Louisiana and South Mississippi. We don't expect that here. If we have tornadoes, it would breed the more brief spin-up type tornadoes. But again, I don't want to de-emphasize the concern of a fairly widespread wind damage event tonight. This is going to spank our state pretty good. Be ready for downed trees and a lot of power outages as this line passes. So again, that's the situation here.
We just got a new severe thunderstorm, not a tornado warning, for Greene, Pickens, and Sumter.
Right, and that's the right call. Again, this is the culture change here. So we're shifting from these tornado warnings to severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's put the reflectivity back on. I think that kind of tells a better story for the people watching this. So the new warnings, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Pickens, Greene, and Sumter, all of the counties. Traditionally, polygons cover just a small part of a county. But in this case, with a long line, everybody will deal with it. So again, all of Pickens, all of Greene, all of Sumter County under a severe thunderstorm warning. And on a night like tonight, I'm not going to be able to call out a barn, a barbecue joint, a Walmart, because we're not looking at these tornadoes like that. We're looking at just a very large wind event along this line here. So everybody's going to deal with it. So obviously everybody in Pickens, everybody in Greene, everybody in Sumter County under a severe thunderstorm warning. And again, this is the first warning for our state of the evening. And I'll tell you what, if our folks in master control and studio control back in the back, what I'd like to do is this. When there is a break, a commercial break, a timeout break and a commercial break in the football game, I would like to join the television side very briefly for about 30 seconds. So if you guys could count me in that break, I'd like to do about 30, 45 seconds on the television side just to let them know we're over here and they can watch us here. And we have no tornado warning, so we don't need to go on wall to wall. So if everybody in the back studio, master control, you guys can let us know in our ear and kind of give us a countdown. I want to join the television side for only about 30 or 45 seconds. And again, we're not here to cut off football games. Trust me, we don't like to do that. But I just want to let them know on the television side that we're over here. All right, so coming up on 9 o'clock, and again, we're on ABC3340.com, the ABC3340 YouTube channel, and the ABC3340 Facebook page. And we will be here with you for this event tonight. As this line comes through, we have a line of severe storms around the Golden Triangle of Mississippi. The line is about to come through Columbus and West Point. West Point here, this is Clay County, Mississippi. This is Lowndes County, Mississippi. And the line extends right down US 45, down to Macon and Meridian. And again, it's terrifying when you see all those red flashing boxes over here. The Weather Service in Jackson, they made the decision to just broad brush the whole line with tornado warnings. Weather Service in Birmingham, they're not going to do that. They're going to go with severe thunderstorm warnings because, quite frankly, there's just not any well-defined tornadoes you can find within that line. But we advise you to take the same precautions with these severe thunderstorm warnings as you would with the tornado warning. which means we don't want you in a mobile home. I would not want to be in a mobile home as the line comes through. Mobile homes are wonderful, affordable housing. They really are. And cars are great. Goodness gracious, I got in a car and went from my house to the TV station here. But you can't be in a car during a situation like this, and I would not advise to be in a mobile home either. So if you are in Pickens, Green, or Sumter, if you live in a trailer, a mobile home, you might consider taking the same action you would as if this were a food restaurant, a gas station that's open that can offer a better shelter, a site-built structure like that. Because, again, we can easily see a lot of trees coming down tonight. And if a tree comes right through the middle of a mobile home or a trailer, that's life-threatening. That's awfully dangerous. And you might want to be out of the mobile home for this line of storms. And that'll be the case as this thing progresses through the entire state overnight tonight. And in terms of driving, I don't like to give travel advice because everybody has a different risk tolerance level. For some people, driving in heavy rain, that's no problem. For others, that's extremely dangerous. But again, with this line, we could see winds gusting to 50, maybe 60 miles an hour. And so, Ryle, I was going to ask you, have you seen, I have been doing a million things back here. What about damage out of Mississippi? I've not seen in the last 10, 15 minutes a lot. That doesn't mean there's no damage, but I haven't seen a lot of reports.
I haven't heard anything just yet. I'm going back and forth between social media and National Weather Service chat. We haven't had any confirmed damage as of now. Now, that doesn't mean nothing's happening. It's 9 o'clock at night. It's hard to see. It's hard to go out and surveil. But I want to mention another thing, too. We had a lot of rain yesterday. That's really going to saturate the ground, soften it. So we don't even have to have significant wind gusts to bring down any trees or power lines, especially if you live in a more flood-prone area where the ground gets saturated a lot more quickly and a lot more significantly. Those trees can come down pretty quickly and pretty easily. So remember, we've been saying this. We're going to keep saying it. Treat the severe thunderstorm warnings at Greene County and Sumter counties. That does include Aliceville, Carrollton.
Stand by. Stand by. We're going to take TV. Stand by.
We're about to go on TV now.
What we're going to do is take the television side. So we'll get a countdown and we will join television. So y'all hang with us. And I will only be on TV for about 30 seconds or so. And again, we're waiting on the crew in the back. And again, if you're watching on the digital side, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to kind of pause for a second, let the television side join us for just a quick moment, and then we'll get right back to the football game on the TV side. But I will say, looking at the reports out of Mississippi, I've seen not really structural damage with this line, but trees down. And again, that's going to be the main concern here. It's trees down with this. About how far out, Theo? Okay, they're waiting on one commercial to end, and then we'll go. We'll get you right back to the football game. I'm James Spann. A quick note, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now in West Alabama for Pickens, Greene, and Sumter counties. This line of severe storms crossing into the state. No tornado warnings, but severe thunderstorm warnings. These storms could produce winds of 50, 60, maybe 70 miles an hour. So we would advise that you treat these severe thunderstorm warnings like tornado warnings. We have coverage streaming on the ABC 3340 YouTube channel and the ABC 3340 Facebook page. So join us there for the continuous coverage. Now we get you right back to the football game on ABC. All right. So hopefully they won't get too mad at me for that. Yeah, but again, Riley, I'm just noticing that it seems like I'm not seeing any structural damage over
No,
there.
and Jason Davis just said they got a 46 mile per hour gust at Meridian.
And I will say, you know, the one thing is that we've had a lot of rain today over the western side of the state. We did not see any sun And that's a great thing. So the instability values are not as high as they could be. That's the one thing that's not that impressive with this system. It's the thermodynamics, the instability. If the instability values were higher, this could be pretty rough. We could see a bunch of storms in advance of this. In fact, we do see some storms in advance of this, but these are not severe. We've got some rain coming through the Birmingham Metro here, but again, nothing severe. The only concern, it's this line right here. But like I said before, I've seen this a lot of times where a really strong dynamic system with really strong wind fields, it can actually overcome the lack of thermodynamics and still produce a lot of tree and power line damage. But I think that's great news coming through Meridian, where we have a good weather observation site there at the airport, 6 miles an hour. That's just outstanding. But still, you've got to treat this line as though the winds could be at 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. So again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Pickens, Greene, Sumter counties in West Alabama. This will be crossing over into these counties, I'd say, beginning about 9:15 to 9:30. And again, Tuscaloosa's right here, Birmingham is right here. And again, we stress in the Birmingham Metro, we had some heavy rain, some thunder and lightning. There's no severe weather anywhere in Alabama other than this line that's approaching and about to cross of the state line out of Mississippi. And this whole system did produce some very violent tornadoes earlier today in parts of South Mississippi, Louisiana, and southeastern Texas. Some really nasty damage. Yes, sir.
We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Lamar County until 10 p.m. And also, the National Weather Service in Birmingham is watching a few circulations in Lauderdale County, Mississippi, which is the county Meridian is in. So if you're in southern, some severe thunderstorm warning, not a tornado warning, but just remember, treat all severe thunderstorm warnings tonight like tornado warnings, as well as that new warning for Lamar County. And this, yeah, it's the entire county as well.
And again, hopefully, after we watch this line and see how it behaves for the first hour or so coming into the state, maybe we can back off a little bit on the call to action statement here. But I think what Riley's saying is correct, is a course of least regret. I would treat these severe thunderstorm warnings like tornado warnings based on the dynamics involved here. And again, keep in mind we have this level 4 out of 5 threat for the western side of the state, level 3 out of 5 over to I-65 over here. So again, pretty significant system. And the other thing I need to mention too, this is not unusual. If you're new here, this is not unusual. Alabama's tornado season is November through May. So having an event like this in late December, it's routine and to be expected. For the central part of the state where we are here, it has been one of the quietest years we've seen in a long time. I would suggest in about 40 years. And again, we noticed the Weather Service in Memphis, they posted a tornado warning up here for, this is Amory, Mississippi right here. This is Monroe County. In fact, let's look at the, let's just see what we can find here. Let's take a look at the velocity display. And again, the signatures have been relatively ill-defined. And again,
let me go to storm relative. That's kind of better in these lines. But even still, it doesn't really show much of anything with that one.
Right. So again, if you're in Hamilton, obviously we're going to watch this stuff like a hawk. Everybody's watching it very carefully. And inevitably, a severe thunderstorm warning is going to be needed for Marion County up here soon. But again, there's just not that much evidence we're seeing in terms of the tornado signature on this thing here at this point. And again, maybe it looked good 3 volume scans ago. But they come and they go very quickly. Again, we're not going to have these long track tornadoes in a situation like this. They will be very short-lived if they're down. But again, everybody will deal with strong winds, the strong wind field in association with this. In fact, I was going to go up to the Weather Service in Memphis, take a look at their, the nice thing about it, we're all together on Slack, a platform where we can communicate. And the Weather Service in Memphis said that rotation had increased quickly with the storm approaching Aberdeen, and that's the reason for the tornado warning. And then he goes on to say the circulation has been intermittent, but enough to warrant a warning. So again, right now, we're just not seeing much up there. And again, we expect mostly severe thunderstorm warnings tonight, not tornado warnings. So again, in Alabama, the warnings we have in effect now, we have Choctaw, Sumter, Greene, Pickens, and Lamar counties, all parts of the county under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that's the way it's going to be. Again, typically the polygons define a small part of the county when it comes to tornado danger, but in this case, with a long line like this, everybody will deal with it. And again, we're getting so many questions about what about my town? And of course, we can't just give a briefing for hundreds of municipalities in the state. The whole state will deal with this tonight, the whole state of Alabama. It doesn't matter where you live. And there's reasonable thinking these will be weakening as they push into east and northeast Alabama. There's been a wedge front keeping temperatures down up and through here. So the instability values, there's basically no surface-based instability up here in northeast Alabama. So if you're in Fort Payne, Scottsboro, Albertville, Boaz, Gadsden Center, the chance of this weakening is pretty good. We can't guarantee that, and there's still some chance of severe storms. The SPC has defined that. But again, hopefully the lack of any instability up here will kind of mitigate the threat. But for the rest of the state, we got dew points up in the 60s. Again, there's not a lot of instability, but it doesn't take a lot in the cold season to have severe storms firing up in December and January with not that much CAPE. CAPE is convective available potential energy. That's buoyancy or instability, which is an ingredient that you need there. So we have no tornado warnings in Alabama, no tornado warnings in the state. And Riley, I don't know if you can pull up that Reform camera. We have a camera at Reform Elementary School. And again, this, in terms of, providing coverage, this is not going to be a sexy night for that, because this is a squall line, rain wrapped, pitch black outside. And again, it's just, we know from social science studies that you will react better to warnings if you see it, if you see a tornado, if you see wind damage and things like that. It's going to be harder to do that, obviously, in a situation like this with a squall line late at night. But this is Alabama. This is not Oklahoma. This is not Kansas. Our stuff here is not sexy like everywhere else. It tends to be rain wrapped and you can't see a lot of it. And that's certainly going to be, again, most of the damage will be not from tornadoes, but from strong straight line winds. Which, another thing, again, I'm not going to be able to call out, a barn, a Walmart, a barbecue joint, because everybody's going to deal with it, everybody. I got that camera, Riley, is it up and running?
It's fuzzy, it's dark.
I was checking to see if you had any lightning strikes on it. That's about the only thing I see really is the frequency of the lightning. In fact, I will say that the lightning has been pretty impressive down in South Alabama. And Theo, just so you will know, I will be calling for some stuff on WEX 05. In fact, if you can take that, it's going to look pitch black, but I'll show you. We've got some lightning on this shot. So if you can take WEX 05, watch this lightning display, almost nonstop. Now, that's coming down at Summerdale. This is in Baldwin County near the Alabama Gulf Coast. They've had some storms earlier this evening. And a lot of you in West Alabama will be seeing a scene just like that, just constant lightning lighting up the sky. And again, that's the only way we can see things, but that's what it's going to look like. And again, that video was taken from Summerdale earlier tonight. So let's go back to the radar. It's 9:14, and we have a line of severe storms. And let me just say again, we've got rain falling in the Birmingham Metro, raining up in parts of Cullman County, rain falling in parts of Perry and Hale counties here. Nothing severe at all. The issue that we'll deal with, it's this line right here. And I mean, that thing is knocking on the door. It is sitting on the Alabama-Mississippi state line. And again, we are not on television because we have no tornado warnings in our state. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. And again, people are asking, well, if all of Mississippi, they were under a tornado warning, what's the deal? It's just a culture difference. And I'm not here to say yay or nay or who's doing it right, who's doing it wrong. But the Birmingham Weather Service office, they believe with the lack of really good tornado signatures, it doesn't make any sense to issue tornado warnings. So what you've got are severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Again, for Lamar, Pickens, Greene, Sumter, Choctaw counties in West Alabama, all the counties you see here, the whole county, not just a part of the county. And sure, within this line, there might be a brief isolated tornado. And the problem with these things, it gets down for a couple of minutes and then it goes right back up. And by the time a warning is issued, the damage is done. Trying to catch those, we're just not that good. There's some things we can do in the weather enterprise, and there's some things that we cannot do in the weather enterprise. And trying to catch a QLCS 2-minute tornado and disseminate that warning information, I just don't know if that's possible. And what you looking at, Riley?
It looked like a little notch just south of Scuba. I think that's near Shuckalak, Mississippi. it almost had that flying V formation you see in, or the flying eagle you see in QLCSs, but nothing looks too impressive right now, which is good. That's good news for us. But I'm trying to watch this line just to see if there's any kind of spin ups whatsoever. Maybe near Scuba, Shukalak, maybe a little something trying to spin, but nothing impressive or really of note right now. Just like you said, I think sticking with that severe thunderstorm warning is a pretty solid idea.
Right. And again, and by the way, we got 13 minutes and 46 seconds to go in that Alamo Bowl.
Oh.
So, and then if we have to cut something off over there, it's going to be the EOG, the local guys, and they'll be mad at us, but we can handle that. And they're actually very supportive. That's Jeff Spiegel and Jamie and Johnny. They're the greatest. We love our sports people here, and they will understand if we have to do some television. But again, right now we're just on the YouTube, Facebook, social side, and the digital side, and there's no need to be on television right now to cut off that ball game, even though it's not a close game. Brigham Young 27, Colorado 7. And our sports folks, and again, we'll just see how it goes in terms of the EOG. So we might be able to get that on, we might not. Or maybe we can just all together talk about it. We can all have a mutual weather sports show. How about have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Lamar, Pickens, Greene, Sumter, and Choctaw counties in West Alabama. I would expect almost every county in the path of this line initially in West Alabama will be under a warning, which means if you're in Fayette, Tuscaloosa, you should be under a severe thunderstorm warning soon. Concerning the call to action, let's say you live in a site-built home, not a mobile home. Again, just as a course of least regret, what you might want to consider is treating this like a tornado warning, going into a small room, a small interior closet, hall, bathroom on the lowest floor, away from windows, near the center, and consider putting on a helmet, because if a tree's going to come down through a house, that's a real problem if you've got trees around your property. And like Riley said, we've had some rain earlier today, and they probably will come down pretty easily. But the encouraging thing, Riley, if we got a report from the Air Force Base in terms of the wind over there, do you know? I've not seen any reported winds in excess of 50 miles an hour in the last hour.
No, and you would think, I'm not in the Jackson Slack channel, but you would still think that the Birmingham guys would mention that. The only thing I've seen so far is 46 mile per hour gust out of Meridian. Now, I've been going back and forth looking at our Facebook Live comments, and we actually had a very good question. Could we see these counties removed from the tornado watch as this line goes through? That answer is yes, but first we have to get the line through. Now, as this line pushes through and rain is on the backside away from that severe threat, it is certainly possible that tornado watch gets removed before 4 a.m. This is just for a safety measure, so all this line breaks its way through. But in terms of overall reports, we haven't seen anything coming out of Mississippi other than Meridian, the 46 mile per hour gust, which, gust is the key word there. It's not a sustained wind, but there's a little notch just south of Scuba, Mississippi, about to move into Sumter County. That's sometimes when you can see a brief spin up. It's like a little notch. It's not a perfect straight line. It's just a little V-shaped within that. Now, there's still no active tornado warnings within the state. We just got a new, it looks like a continuation of a severe thunderstorm warning. Extends the tornado watch. Okay, so now Coosa, Elmore, Montgomery, and Pike counties are now in the tornado watch, and nothing else has been in terms of the old tornado watch. We continue the severe thunderstorm warning for Lamar County. There is no tornado possible tag on there, but remember, on days like today, we've had rain earlier in the day and parts of yesterday. It doesn't really matter if it's a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning. These trees can come down very easily. Power poles, things of that nature. The trampolines can go flying with the winds. It's just important tonight, especially since this is a nighttime event, to treat any warning, severe, what have you, like a tornado warning. Get in your safe place. Remember, lowest level of the home, basement, first floor, center as possible, helmets, pillows, blankets. You gotta protect your head and neck. But in terms of right now. This line is just about to get into Pickens County. It looks like we have some rain. That's near Lake Aliceville and Pickensville before you go into Mississippi. And looks like higher reflectivity going through Macon, Mississippi. That will likely skirt the southwestern portion of Pickens County. We are also pulling from the Columbus, Mississippi radar. That gives us the best look at this line as it moves through Mississippi. Very high reflectivity values indicating very heavy rainfall. We also haven't seen any reports of hail. We don't really get that many hail reports down here, but we've been saying this for days. Our primary threats were going to be damaging winds upwards of 60 to 70 miles per hour, as well as the potential for a few tornadoes. At least right now, we are spared from the tornadoes, but the severe thunderstorm warnings, they all bear watching. And 63 mile per hour gusts at the Naval Air Station in Meridian.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
63 mile per hour gust, which, I mean, that can bring down a tree in the conditions we've had so far, just like that.
And what that does, let folks know that the warning verified. That's a verified warning. To be severe, the winds have to be 58 miles per hour or greater. So again, at the Naval Air Station, we've had a gust there to 63. So again, we are at 9:22. James Spann, Riley Blackwell here. We have a line of severe storms crossing into the western part of Alabama. And we have no tornado warnings in our social side. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Lamar County. And again, this is the entire county. All of Lamar, all of Pickens, all of Greene, all of Sumter, all of Choctaw. And again, this line will be extending eastward with time. I'd say if you're in Tuscaloosa, that line should reach you probably about maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight. The Birmingham Metro, midnight to 1 a.m. Anniston, Gadsden, probably sometime toward 2, 3 a.m. And the air across Alabama is relatively stable, which is a really good thing. If we had a really unstable air mass, this might be a huge problem. But again, looking at the latest instability values, there's basically no instability, no surface-based instability from Birmingham north and east. Temperatures are in the 50s up here. It's cool and fairly stable, and that should really mitigate this line as it moves into the northeastern part of the state. There's a chance it weakens, and we certainly hope that's the case. No instability at all. And the parameters, the instability over here, not that high. And again, there's a lot of rain earlier today in West Alabama. The instability at Tuscaloosa, 378 joules per kilogram. That's not that much. You really have to get down to the Gulf Coast to find those instability values of 1,000 joules. So hopefully the lack of instability will mean that we'll see a slow weakening trend with these, and we'll get away without major problems. But having said that, just for now, again, as these storms enter West Alabama, and once they cross through these counties, we'll know exactly what's going on here. We'll get all the social reports. We'll see if there's anything happening, but we'll know if the weakening trend will begin. But I would still just consider in these counties, Lamar, Pickens, Greene, Sumter, Choctaw, being in a small interior room on the lowest floor away from windows near the center, because, again, trees could come down pretty easily. But again, Riley, the good thing, I'm just looking and looking and looking at all the social channels, and I've not seen any structural damage with this line in eastern Mississippi, and that's good.
Yeah, that's a good thing, especially getting into these western counties where it's very rural. A lot of trees, especially in parts of western Pickens, western Sumter counties. I know the biggest issues is going to be tree down, and we're getting stuff. Okay, that's from Mobile. But, we're just keeping a very close eye on all these systems. We're looking at velocity right now to see if there's anything spinning. But really at this point, it doesn't matter if there's rotation or it's just straight line winds. Damage is certainly possible. Seeing some comments saying, can straight line winds damage a mobile home? Yes. Very similar to a tornado can damage a mobile home. Straight line winds can damage site-built homes, especially if trees fall on them from a saturated ground. Saturated environments, which is what we have right now due to all of the rain. Now, that warm front, it was lifted further to the north, but We didn't see any supercells earlier today. We can be very thankful of that. Looks like that line is starting to enter northern Pickens, so we'll go back to reflectivity. Starting to scoot into the western edge of Sumter counties, Pickens County, Lake Aliceville, Pickensville. I saw a few comments from there. You just got to hunker down right now. Winds are probably in excess of 40 to 50 miles per hour. They're very heavy rain, a lot of lightning, which I know of Lake Aliceville, you're on a lake, lightning is dangerous. Get off the water. But overall, these storms are certainly going to pack a punch, even if there's not a tornado. And that's been the key messaging throughout the evening. It looks like a fairly high reflectivity value coming from Columbus. Moving into, just saw some lightning on our reform camera. They'll probably have more of a lightning show the further that line moves into Pickens County, but I'm starting to see some lightning start to pop up now from reform.
But again, the good news, if something happens, I'll find out about it through the social followers, and I'm so thankful if you follow me. Yes, sir.
We have a tornado warning now for Lamar County.
Okay, so we're going to keep it here. Lamar County is in the Columbus, Mississippi TV market, not the Birmingham market. So again, we're going to keep it here on the digital side. So there's your tornado warning polygon here. And again, this is the circulation right here. And here's a look at those that are in the polygon. First off, if you are in Millport or Kennedy, you are not in the polygon. So we have potential for a tornado that's right in this region here. This is Vernon, this is Sulligent. That's Alabama Highway 17. That's the main north-south route through the county. That's U.S. Highway 278 up here. That's the main east-west route that comes through Sulligent. And again, 17 here, Highway 278 here. And to get potential for what could be a tornadic circulation right here, about 8 miles southwest of Vernon, moving to the north-northeast. So again, if you are in Vernon or Sulligent, we encourage you now to go to your safe place. And again, we're kind of looking back in through here, what might be a debris signature here. This is what we call the debris tracker with the label up here. That's a product called correlation coefficient. But again, right there, that's the concern, the possibility of a tornado here in parts of Lamar County. Again, this is about 8 miles southwest of Vernon, moving to the northeast like that. So again, if you're in Vernon, Sulligent, anybody in this polygon, you got to respect the polygon. Respect the polygon. You've got to be in your safe place. And again, we really advise small room, hall, closet, bathroom, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. Wear a helmet, bike helmet, perfect. If you have kids that play sports, a batting helmet, a football helmet, motorcycle helmet. Most people that are seriously hurt in tornadoes, it is blunt force trauma above the shoulders, and that's very important. So again, in that safe place, you want to be there with a helmet on, and we don't want anybody driving in a vehicle in here, or we don't want anybody in a mobile home. If you live in a mobile home in that part of Lamar County, now is the time to go to your nearest shelter or a business that's open on a Saturday night, a site-built business that can offer shelter to you. But we encourage nobody to be in a mobile home, nobody to be in a car. And again, this is a tornado warning in effect for Lamar County in northwest Alabama. That's going to be in effect until, 10 o'clock. And we also have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Fayette County and Marion County. So again, Marion and Fayette counties are now under severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, the same thing. We recommend that if you are in Marion County or in Fayette County, the best thing to do is to just treat it like a tornado warning, in that we could see some trees coming down and you want to be in that safe place. So the reason we have a tornado warning in effect for Lamar, it's this circulation right here that's just about 6-7 miles now due west of Vernon, moving north-northeast. And on this track, and again, notice there could be a little bit of lowered correlation coefficient here, which means there could be some debris that's being lofted. It's a little noisy in through here, but that could be a TDS right there. And again, that will be moving to the northeast. So obviously, and most likely this is going to stay a little west of Vernon, but still, Sulligent, you're going to be awfully close. And again, forget all these places I'm calling out here. If you were in that polygon, that's why I always say respect the polygon. you need to be sheltered. Now, if you're south of Highway 18 right here, you're going to be, I'd say at this point, I would not worry about this because this is moving north. So if you're down here below Vernon, we'll give you an all clear. The concern now, it's north of Vernon, nobody traveling on Highway 17, and especially those of you in Sulligent, I would be sheltered right now. Any reports of damage with this thing, Riley? I have not seen any over here.
No, I would not be surprised up in the Natchez Trace if we saw some damage coming out of Aberdeen and Amory, just because it's so densely populated with forest up there. But in terms of here locally, I haven't seen any damage. Haven't heard of anything. I'll see if anything's on X or Twitter.
Yeah, it's been quiet on my end here, which is a good thing. So again, if you're just joining us, it's 9:32. We have a tornado warning that is in effect. In fact, let's move it back up and look at that storm in Lamar County, Riley. It's for right here. We'll zoom in a little closer. And again, the tornadic circulation has crossed Highway 18. That's Alabama Highway 18 right here. This Alabama Highway 17 here. And the circulation would be right in through here, moving to the north-northeast in the direction of Sulligent. So again, if you are in the community of Sulligent, and again, if you're still in Vernon, I would still stay sheltered for about 5 more minutes. If you're south of Highway 18, we'll give you an all clear here. So again, south of Highway 18, all clear from this particular tornadic circulation. Now the problem is everybody is going to deal with the line of storms. We're specifically talking about this one tornadic circulation here. And again, that'll be moving up this way. So let's go back to the reflectivity and let's take a look at our line itself. And you can see that everybody's going to deal with this. I say if you're south of Highway 18, the tornado danger is over, but the storm itself is coming right through here. That nasty line of storms stretching right through the far western part of Lamar, Pickens, Sumter, and Choctaw counties here in West Alabama. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for all of Marion, Fayette, Lamar, Pickens, Greene, Sumter, and Choctaw. All those counties, the whole counties in effect. So again, that's the situation here. Any updates, Riley?
Our producer Nick just came in my ear and said we had a camera, I think it was an Algo traffic camera in Sulligent, which probably give it 10 to 15 minutes. We might can check to see if we have any activity on that, just in case something were to go up towards Sulligent in the northern portions of Lamar County. But we're going to zoom in, and who knows, this thing may not even make it all the way to Sulligent, just because how these tornadoes are. They spin very quickly and they're gone very quickly. Maybe a little notch just to the northwest of Vernon. And you said we had a Vernon camera, Nick? Look, we do have a Vernon camera, James, if you'd like to go to that and maybe see if we can see anything at all. A lot of rain. See the raining sideways.
On with the Bulldogs. Vernon. Again, just the good news, the power's on. We always like to start with that. And again, not that many traffic. There's one car coming through there. But again, this is a live look at an Algo camera that is in Vernon in Lamar County, where it's just absolutely pouring. Now, if there's a small tornado here, it passed west of Vernon, and it's moving up in the direction of Sulligent. So again, the good news is the fact that they've got power there, and that is very, very good news. So again, if you're just joining us now, we are live at 9:35, and we're only on the digital side. We're on the ABC 3340 YouTube channel and Facebook page and the website and the app. We're not on television. Lamar County is not in our TV market. It's in the Meridian or in the Columbus Tupelo TV market. And we don't make that call. That's based on the viewing habits of the people in the individual counties. So we're going to keep it on. We're going to let folks watch their football game. Now, if we get a warning for Marion or Fayette, then yes, we go on television for that. But this is noisy. We're just not seeing velocity display one time. And again, that's not really a classic tornado signature here. So again, that's the problem with these things. If you see a pretty good tight circulation on a night like tonight, by the time the warning is disseminated, it's gone. And I think that's pretty much the situation here. But again, the focus will not be on these brief, isolated spin-up tornadoes, but on the larger problem of damaging straight-line winds that will be coming through. If we can we go back to that Vernon camera, fellas, back in the back? If we've still got that thing. Okay, it went down, all right? So again, we saw that heavy rain falling at Vernon. Really no evidence of a tornado at this point. You might argue the fact that there's a weak circulation here on Highway 17 north of Vernon, but that's not really a classic tornado signature. Let's go back to that Vernon camera again. This is an algo camera. This is in downtown Vernon. And what you see there is what you get, and that's what you're going to experience. Basically, all of Alabama is going to experience this line. And again, it's coming through with tremendous amounts of rain, strong winds. Not seeing a lot of evidence of hail so far in this line.
And I have the Sullivan camera pulled up over here on my laptop, and it honestly looks calmer than Vernon. Not much rain. It is windy, nothing significant at all. Yeah, this one's out of Sullivan. And Sullivan, remember, you are in that warning, and I mean, really, the circulation is just about too close. So from Vernon up 17 to Sullivan, I wouldn't advise travel at all. But you know, I'm keeping an eye on the Sullivan camera right now. I am starting to see lightning start to pick up. So, I think we still have it.
Let's mention, too, we've got a tornado warning for Washington County. This is down in southwest Alabama. And again, in a digital world, there are no boundaries here. So people are watching us all over. So let's go quickly down to Washington. And I don't think we have the mobile radar we can show here. We do not.
No,
but I can make magic happen over here. So I'll tell you what, if we can, Theo, take WEX 05.
Oh, the Sullivan camera is really starting to ramp up now. Winds are picking up significantly.
All right, let's take that.
Sullivan.
Let's go there. Let's go to the Sullivan camera first. And again,
That's an algo cam.
This will show you the line as it's coming through Sullivan.
It is an algo camera. Oh, it just went out. It's starting to buffer. But if you're on the map, the algo map, and you go up to Sullivan, you can see that.
Real quickly, Theo, let's take WEX 05, and I wanted to show this warning down to the south. And again, this is a tornado warning for this right here in Wayne County, Mississippi, and that's going to move into parts of Choctaw and Washington counties. Over here, that's Alabama Highway 17. This is Silas, and this is Milry right here. In fact, let me pop on the velocity display, and you can see it a little better. There we go. Again, that's a tornadic circulation coming out of Wayne County, Mississippi, moving into far southern Choctaw and northern Washington counties. That's down in southwest Alabama. So if you're watching us in that part of the state, a heads up. That would include basically Silas, Milry, and those communities along Highway 17 south of US 84. All right, so let's go back to the radar here. And again, we are at 9:40. We have a tornado warning for the northern part of Lamar County, but really we've lost the tornado signature here. We've just got the squall line coming through, and that's the main concern. So let's pop back on the reflectivity, and I'll show you where the line is located. You can see that line is coming right into downtown Sullivan. It's pouring in Vernon. The line is approaching Kennedy. And again, that will be crossing over into Marion, Fayette, of course, coming through Pickens now, Greene, Sumter, and Choctaw counties. All these counties under a severe thunderstorm warning in West Alabama. What you see over here, not severe, just the junk convection, if you will. South of Birmingham, east of Birmingham, nothing severe, just rain and thunder. The main concern, it's this long squall line right here. And again, we have that one tornado warning for Lamar, northern Lamar, but again, that we just don't see it at this point. And typically what the Weather Service will do, they'll have cycles.
We have one report of a tree down in York on Lincoln Street or County Road 2. That's the first report of damage in York in Sumter counties.
And for just having one report of damage, that's a good thing. We had great concern that we might have widespread damage tonight. And again, looking at all the social channels, I just don't see a lot at this point. Got a report. I live in Vernon, on the highest hill around. Just saw a transformer blow west of Vernon in the direction of the possible tornado, and that was at 9:33. That was about 10 minutes ago, which would make sense.
Lots of frequent lightning still on this algo camera in Vernon. I don't know if we have the Sulligent camera anymore. I think it might have went down. But let me get quick, because that main circulation has passed, but pretty high reflectivity values going through there right now. High winds, very heavy. I'm going to go back and look at the velocity on this, and it's just, it looks like it's starting to broaden out, looking at base and storm relative. They're probably going to still hold on to this warning as it approaches 278, but, you know, good news, in the past couple of scans, that thing really has broadened out.
And that is good news. So again, let's go back to the radar here. And again, this is northern Lamar County, and we just don't see any strong evidence of a tornado here, but we got the squall line, QLCS, if you will. And again, that's the greatest concern there. In fact, let's put the reflectivity back on, and you can see the line itself is now moving east of Sulligent, coming down toward Millport in the far southeastern part of Lamar County. And again, that'll be crossing into Lamar, Marion, and Fayette counties here. This is Marion, this is Fayette, and all of these counties, all of them, every square inch of these counties under a severe thunderstorm warning. And we've learned that a lot of folks don't pay attention to severe thunderstorm warnings, and I understand that. A lot of that, it's our fault. We have too many warnings, too many false alarms, and people are just, they hear them all the time and nothing happens. But on a night like tonight, we recommend that you do pay attention to those severe thunderstorm warnings and almost treat them as if they're a tornado warning based on the potential for this. Now, we've had a wind gust to 63 at the Meridian Naval Air Station.
Looks like reports on the Facebook Live about trees down in Pickens County from Michelle Jones. She doesn't say exactly where in Pickens County, but we are getting some reports that trees are down in Pickens County, along with that report earlier in York, where we have one report of a tree down. Remember, that is in the southern portions of Sumter County, but now we're getting some reports of trees down in Pickens County. So we'll see if we can maybe try to get a pinpoint location on that. But still, as of right now, that's all I'm seeing, which is, you know, pretty good news given the environment we've been in and all that's happened before the line came through.
All right, 9:44. Let's expand this out. Let's look at a big picture, kind of a reset if you're just joining us. Again, we're live on the ABC 3340 YouTube channel and Facebook page and abc3340.com. We have no severe storms anywhere in the state except the far western side right here, this line of severe storms moving through the western part of the state. And again, there is technically a tornado warning in effect here for northern Lamar, which is in the Columbus Tupelo TV market, not ours. That's the reason we're not on the television side. And again, we just don't see strong evidence of a tornado here at this point. The line extends down through parts of Pickens County. It's coming through Reform right now. In fact, can we punch up the Reform camera? It should be pouring rain over there right now.
Yeah, the camera is a little fuzzy.
So am I. It's okay.
Yeah. But we're starting to get a lot of frequent lightning.
You can take it through our graphic system.
Yeah, take it through graphic. Yeah, there we go. That's the Reform camera. Lightning lighting up the sky. Let's see if I can pan a little bit. But
and again, this is at Reform Elementary School in Pickens County, which is just south of US 82 in Reform. I was there not too long ago. Okay. So there's not going to be an EOG program tonight. We're going to have weather coverage instead, which is probably the right call, and hopefully our friends in sports will forgive us. Not seeing any really intense wind, not seeing a lot of lightning, quite frankly, with that, which is pretty interesting. I thought we would see just nonstop lightning, and obviously the rain is starting to increase. And if you can, I tell you what, if we could take that in our graphic system and key that behind me, that would really help.
yeah,
let's.
There we go. We can pull it up now.
Yeah, Theo, yeah, there we go. This is what we need right here. All right, this is the way it should be. So again, this is our Skycam at Reform Elementary School in Pickens County. This is about 30 miles due west of Tuscaloosa. And the line of severe storms is coming into the elementary school here right now, and obviously it's pouring rain. We're just not seeing a whole, we're seeing some lightning, of course, but not a tremendous amount, not the nonstop lightning like we have seen down in South Alabama. And obviously there's a severe thunderstorm warning in effect here. So let's pop the radar back on here. And again, this is, we'll show that long line of storms in West Alabama from extreme western Marion through Lamar, Pickens, Sumter, Choctaw counties. The line should be in the Tuscaloosa area, 10:30 to 11 o'clock. Just be aware of that. And I think what the Weather Service will continue to do is just blanket warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings in advance of the line, unless we see a clear weakening trend or if we just don't see a lot of damage reports. And hopefully that's the case. And again, like we've talked about, the air is pretty stable from Birmingham north and east. And I think that could mitigate the big problems we see here because the air is just cool. And we don't have any instability values. So if northeast of Birmingham, a decent chance this will weaken. I can't guarantee that, but a decent chance it will. Let's pop the tornado watch back on real quick. If you're just joining us, we have a tornado watch in effect until 4 a.m. for these counties in yellow on the map. And again, the tornado watch is as far east as Cullman, Blount, St. Clair, Talladega, Coosa, Elmore, and Montgomery counties, and counties back off to the west. There is no watch in effect for Etowah, Calhoun, Cherokee, Cleburne, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, or Chambers, or DeKalb, or Marshall, Jackson. No watch, and hopefully the storms weaken by the time they reach you. But for everybody else, there could be a brief isolated tornado within the line. Traditionally, with linear events like this, they produce more straight line wind episodes than tornadoes. But again, based on the system, and there's a lot of shear going on here, there could be a few isolated tornadoes. And again, technically for a couple more minutes, 12 more minutes, we have a tornado warning in effect for northern Lamar. So let's go back to northern Lamar. Now we have a tornado warning for Marion County.
That's most of the county, actually, for Marion County.
All right, so now what we're going to have to do is take over on the television side. So for those of you back in the back in studio control, we are going to need to go
on TV.
live on television. So if you can give us a standby, we need to go right now. Just as soon as you guys can get us on the air on the TV side, we're going to join television. All right, we apologize for interrupting the football game, but there's a tornado warning in effect now for Marion County in northwest Alabama, which is in our television market. A reminder, you can watch the rest of the game, the final 2 minutes, on the ESPN.com website. So again, to watch the end of the Alamo Bowl, go to the app on your phone, tablet, or the ESPN website. But again, we've got a tornado warning in effect now for northern Lamar and a large part of Marion County here in northwest Alabama. This tornado warning polygon does include Hamilton, it includes Hackleburg, it includes Brilliant, it includes Guin, it includes Winfield. I know that's a big polygon. Typically for a tornado, they're smaller, but with a situation like this, these are more problematic in that these linear type events can produce tornadoes that are harder to identify. So again, we have a tornado warning in effect now for northern Lamar and all of Marion counties up here in the northwestern part of the state. And I would assume that they're looking at this area right in through here, which is north of US 278. That's US 278 right here, Guin here, Beaverton, Sulligent, and that'll be coming up into Marion County. And let me pull up the Weather Service chat session here. The tornado warning for Marion County is going to be in effect until 10:30 this evening. That's the next 39 minutes.
And real quick for the guys in the back, we do have a camera, an algo camera in Hamilton, so maybe just keep an eye on that if we were to need to go to that. So we do have an algo camera near Bexar and Hamilton, both in Marion County.
All right, and again, what we've got here, it's kind of a, let's go back to the reflectivity for just a moment. Let me show you the actual line itself. And this segment right here is racing, accelerating to the north. And often when you see a bulge like that in this acceleration, you can have within that line segment a tornado or two. So again, anywhere within this line segment here from Guin back up to just southwest of Hamilton, there could be an isolated tornado. And the Weather Service in Birmingham believes, as a course of least regret, the right thing to do is to issue a warning for most of the county. So, and again, like I've said before, we've been on the streaming side for a while here tonight. I'm not going to be able to call out a barbecue joint, a barn, Walmart. I can't do that because these are different type tornadoes. It's a different situation, and everybody will deal with this line itself. So a tornado warning in effect now for a large part of Marion County. And again, for Lamar County, we can almost give folks here an all clear. Certainly if you're in Sulligent, an all clear for you. And it will be totally out of Winfield, ultimately Brilliant, and Hackleburg. And if you're in Marion County, the best thing to do at this point is to go to a safe place. In a site-built home, small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. You're going to wear a helmet. If you've got a bike helmet, that's perfect. If a batting helmet, motorcycle helmet, football helmet. And if you live in a mobile home, you need to be sheltered right now, and you need to be in some type of community shelter or maybe a business that's open at this hour that can serve as a shelter. But the last place you want to be with a line segment like this is a mobile home, and you do not want to be in a car. And obviously the major highway that stretches through this part of the warning polygon, it's Interstate 22, which is right here. And again, Interstate 22 is cutting right across this polygon here, and that bulging line segment's about to come right out on the highway. So if you're listening to us by chance in your vehicle, the best thing to do is just stop at a gas station, convenience store, fast food restaurant, anywhere that's open, and just go in and ride this thing out until it passes. The one thing about it, this is going to move through very quickly, and this is a one and done. Once this line passes, you're done with severe weather for this event. So again, a tornado warning in effect now for Marion County until 10:30. The warning is basically over for Lamar County at this point, but again, right in through here, especially right here, there might be one or two brief isolated tornadoes. And the Weather Service just believes it is kind of a right thing to do in this particular situation here. We have had winds, and let me just say too, in fact, let's show a big picture since we're joining folks on the television side that you've not been with us. We have a long line of severe storms now through West Alabama. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Franklin, Marion, Lamar, Fayette, Pickens, Greene, Hale, Marengo, Sumter, and Choctaw counties. The whole county, all these counties, because of this long line. And within the line, we could see winds gusting to 40, 50, 60, maybe 70 miles an hour. That's enough to knock down a lot of trees and power lines. And again, you see this bulging segment right here. That's the reason the Weather Service issued the tornado warning for Marion County, and that's continuing to accelerate to the north and east right in here. And often when you see a feature like that, that little bulge in the line, that can be a problem, and the wind velocities could even be higher. Does it matter if it's a tornado or straight line winds? It really doesn't. So anybody in Marion County in advance of this line segment, including the city of Hamilton, Winfield, obviously Guin, it's coming through Guin right now, the best thing to do is to be sheltered. And this should be in Hackleburg in about 10 to 15 minutes. And ultimately, this, of course, will cross into Winston and Walker. Everybody's going to have a severe thunderstorm warning for the next couple of hours in advance of this until there's strong evidence of this thing weakening at this point. And up in the Tennessee Valley, the new warnings, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Colbert, Franklin, and Lawrence counties in effect until 10:45. So again, basically everybody within that line is under a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, Jason down at the Weather Service in Birmingham, what he's done here, the reason for the large polygon, he just thinks with that surging line segment here, there could be a few spin-ups. And in this case, he thinks that's the right thing to do. We also note the Winfield weather radio transmitter took a power hit. They're currently off the air, which is a sign the storms are pretty intense. Any damage reports from you, Riley? I've not seen any.
Trees and power lines down McNeese Crossing near Furnace Hill. That is from the Emergency Management Agency in Lamar County. So trees and power lines down at McNeese Crossing near Furnace Hill. That's in Lamar County. And we're still trying to look at this line to determine where a notch could potentially be. maybe just east of Hamilton, about to go over 278 to the northwest of Brilliant. So if you're between I-22, 278, east of Hamilton, northwest of Brilliant, there could be some very brief rotation. And take a look at the Hamilton algo map. Right now it just looks like rain, wind, nothing significant on the camera. They still have power. Starting to see a lot of lightning as well going to Hamilton. And see if we have anything else on another camera. We do have a couple of cameras in Haleyville as well. So as that system tracks to the north and east closer to Franklin
Pop that
County.
Reform camera back up for just a second. Let's take a look at that. This is going to be our sky cam at Reform Elementary School. And again, we'll need to take it through our graphic system to have the right branding on this. Theo, I'm sorry, you can do that through our graphic system. And I think Riley's got it punched up.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, there we go. Just wanted to check on that.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to see a good bit of lightning, but of course when we pull it on air, the lightning goes away. But I can promise you there is lightning coming through Pickens County, and that includes this camera and Reform. But I'm going to keep an eye on this Haleyville camera too. It looks like we have several, about 3 or 4. So if that brief little circulation holds together, it might warrant showing something. But
I'll say there's not as much lightning as I would expect. We had non-stop lightning down in South Alabama with this line of storms. But again, the power's on, which is good. And again, these storms are coming through extreme West Alabama, and we've seen no structural damage. We've seen some trees down, and that's the greatest concern with this thing, enough to produce tree and power line damage. And let's go back to the radar, Riley. We have new warnings for, looks like, for Walker and Winston as we speak here. Walker and Winston counties, a new severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15. Let's pop up the reflectivity again and kind of show a larger view. Again, you can see all of Winston, all of Walker County under a severe thunderstorm warning for this line here. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for all of Winston, all of Walker, all of Fayette, all of Marion, about the far eastern part of Lamar. And again, let me just say some good news here. Once this line passes you, that's it. The risk of severe weather has ended. This is a one-and-done situation tonight. So now, the line is coming through Hamilton right now. And again, you see the flashing red here. That is a tornado warning polygon for Marion County. It's over for Lamar. We can take out that. But again, a tornado warning in effect for a pretty good chunk of Marion County for this kind of a bulging line segment that's moving northeast. And within that segment, there could be a few isolated brief circulations here. And these are just so hard to catch. But again, the Weather Service just believes that it's the right thing to do in this situation.
Reports of trees down in Hamilton around I-22 exit 16. And that is from the Marion County Emergency Management.
We're getting some reports also from Gordo, peak wind 17. That's certainly not that bad. I think that's not a gust, it's a sustained wind. Fayette, our sky watcher at Fayette, Chris Gardner, he's got a 35-mile-per-hour gust in downtown Fayette. We can handle 35 miles an hour. That's good. I mean, again, that's well below severe criteria, but other parts of the line, it could be different. So let's pop back on the reflectivity here. That's the velocity display. And again, that line of storms coming through Hamilton. It's pouring rain, very windy at this point. It's coming through Winfield, which is right here. It's going to be coming through Brilliant and Hackleburg pretty soon. The storm's coming through Fayette right now in Fayette County. Same thing. You're going to see gusty winds, torrential amounts of rain, cloud-to-ground lightning. Not seeing a lot of hail with this. Let's keep working our way down to the south. The storm's coming through Pickens County. They're about to approach Gordo, which is right here. They've come through Reform in Carrollton. They've come through Aliceville.
We just got a new severe thunderstorm warning for Tuscaloosa County.
Right. And again, everybody's going to be under a warning at some point. So again, we now have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Tuscaloosa County, Walker, Winston, Hale, Greene, in advance of this line. And again, once the line passes, your risk of severe weather is ended. So again, if you're watching us in Tuscaloosa County, we now have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for the county, and that will be in effect until
11:15.
11:15 tonight.
And I want to note too, look at the western side of like Pickens County. Those severe thunderstorm warnings, as you've alluded to, are already being trimmed away. So once this line pushes through, it's just going to be rain on the backside of that. The severe threat, once this leading edge goes through your town, wherever you're at, the severe threat will be over. You'll be on the backside of that where it's just rain. Right now, the western portions of Pickens County, Lamar, Sumter counties, no more severe thunderstorm warnings. And that's probably going to be the trend over the next several hours as this line continues to track to the east. They'll just start shaving the severe thunderstorm warnings down as the main line begins to move its way through.
All right. Final score for the football game for those that were watching: BYU 36, Colorado 14. That game is over. So again, now we have a line of severe storms from Hamilton down to Winfield, Fayette, near Gordo, Carrollton, then down into the western part of Greene County and down into Sumter County. And again, that is moving to the east. And within this line, we have potential for strong straight line winds. That is the main concern. That's the reason. And again, and again, Lamar County, I know it's flashing red. The tornado risk is ended for you. There's still a tornado warning in effect now for Marion County for kind of a bulging line segment here that's moving northeast. And sometimes when you see a configuration like that, you can see a couple of isolated tornadoes. So as a course of least regret, the Weather Service posting a tornado warning. So again, that includes Interstate 22 and points north up toward Hackleburg here. For Winston and Walker, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. For Tuscaloosa, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. And interesting that it's not painted on our...
Yeah, it's not populating, but it does show they issue one at 10:01. That's probably entirely county-based as well because it includes Tuscaloosa, Northport, Holt, Lakeview, Brookwood, Coling, Vance. So, yeah, they're covering the entire county once again.
Yeah, it's still until 11:15. It's there. For some reason, it's not on the graphics box. But Tuscaloosa County is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 11:15. And again, the line itself should be in the city of Tuscaloosa, I would say, by 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And what you see out here, I should mention, it is raining between Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. This is not severe. This is just some junk convection. And again, really, it's good. It's just going to make the rain air cooled and somewhat more stable. And the same thing over here in East Alabama. It's raining in parts of St. Clair, Marshall, Etowah, Talladega counties. You can see rain falling down into Chilton County down here. But again, that's not severe. We have no issues with this. This is just good old-fashioned rain with some thunder and lightning. And best case scenario, this rain helps to stabilize the atmosphere, which hopefully will open the door for a decreasing trend with that line of strong to severe storms. We hope that's the case. We can't guarantee that, but that's certainly a possibility with a situation like this. So it's 10:04. I'm James Spann, Riley Blackwell here. We're live on ABC 3340 along with the Facebook, YouTube channels, and we are going to stay with this. We have a tornado warning in effect. Let me just say, too, our EOG program, the sports program, that has been delayed until tomorrow night. So instead of tonight, the gang will be here tomorrow night with that EOG program. And we apologize to them. But again, when the weather's like this, we have to do what we have to do. And they certainly understand that. Line of severe storms now: Hamilton, Winfield, Fayette, Gordo, Carrollton, Aliceville, then down to near Gainesville in Sumter County, and Epps right there on the Tom Bigby on the Greene-Sumter County line, and then curving down toward near the Rooster Bridge over the Tom Bigby that's west of Demopolis. The line will be coming through places like Haleyville, Double Springs, Jasper, Tuscaloosa, Greensboro, Utah, Demopolis within the hour. And what you can expect would be strong, potentially damaging straight line winds with this line. And you might want to pull up a power map, Riley, because sometimes that tells us a lot. By looking at power outages, sometimes that gives you a good clue as to the severity of the wind, and we'll get a running count of how many folks are without power. But again, the good news I can tell you, there's not that much instability. Okay, here's the current power outages, and probably not that many. Let's do a point and click on Lamar.
Well,
and see if
let me
we
get
can
these warnings off of here real quick. That way, Lamar County.
We'll do a pixel query on Lamar just to see how many outages we have here. The good news, these blue color in Lamar, 700 Marion, 100 for Fayette. The outage is 300 for Pickens. So obviously Lamar County has the greatest number of power outages now with 2,000. And obviously the winds were pretty ferocious coming through Lamar with numbers like that. And we'll kind of keep an eye on that. So just we'll keep an eye on power outages. So let's go back to the radar. Again, we're live here. And remember, whenever we're live, our attention is focused on providing wall-to-wall coverage here, and we thank you for watching in advance. We have a line of severe storms in West Alabama, and again, there's a kind of a bulging line segment here coming through Marion County that's accelerating to the northeast, and the Weather Service believes there could be, within that, maybe a spin-up tornado. And for that reason, they issued a tornado warning for a pretty good chunk of Marion County.
Starting to got a report of multiple power lines and power poles down around County Highway 58. That's in Guin and the extreme southeastern or southern portions of Marion County. So County Highway 58 in Guin, South Marion County, where it might have been a little notch of circulation like James talked about in that line. It's hard to pick up all the circulations if they're moving through. And they're talking about weak circulation right now as well over Brilliant, which is just north of I-22.
Yeah, there's no screaming tornado signature here, but again, could there be a little spin up? That's a possibility. Let's take WEX 05 real quick. I wanted to show a tree down. This is all coming from our sky watchers. This is in the North Haven area of Fayette. Jimmy Black sent that photograph in. But again, the good news, the power is on there. We noticed that. But again, that's one example of a tree that has come down in Fayette County tonight. And again, we thank our sky watchers so much for joining us on our Slack channel tonight for the reports they're giving us. So back to the radar. We are here mainly on the television side because of a tornado warning, and we'll probably stay with it for a while. On a night like tonight, folks just want to know what the weather's going to do, and so we'll stay with you. Line of severe storms now from near Red Bay up in Franklin County, then curving down through Marion County, Hamilton, Winfield, down to Fayette, down to Gordo and Pickens County, down to about Gainesville, Epps, and Sumter and Greene counties, then curving down to near the Rooster Bridge west of Demopolis, down into Choctaw County. The main concern here, damaging straight line winds. It's a case tonight where the dynamics are very impressive, the thermodynamics a little iffy. But again, with a dynamic system, sometimes it can overcome the lack of thermodynamics and produce a lot of strong winds, and that's the main concern with this line tonight. And again, we've got Lamar still flashing here, but I'm not too concerned about that. That one actually went out, and we've got a tornado warning in effect now for much of Marion County until 10:30. And again, this is for the possibility of a brief, isolated spin-up tornado. And like I've said before, this is not going to be a night where I can call out a certain landmark for a tornado. We're not going to be able to do that. These are tiny, they're brief, they're not lasting long. Got a report of pea-sized hail. First hail report we've had down in Sumter County. This is from Chief Vaughn down in Cuba. This is the southern part of the county. Pea-sized hail mixed in with the rain. Other than that, I've not seen really any evidence of large hail falling tonight, which is good. And again, so far we've just seen some scattered trees down. I've not seen any structural damage, which is also a good thing because with a situation like this, you can easily have trees coming down through structures here. All right, and let me just say, Riley, you might want to check our box. We're showing 9:58 as the time. It's actually 10:10 right now. So and the fact that we're not populating the warnings, we might have some type of issue with the...
Let's see how far we can get. 10:10. There we go.
There we go. That's okay. Now we've got it. Now the Tuscaloosa warning is there, and there we go. Very good. All right. So let's go to Marion County real quick. And again, the polygon has been trimmed. Hamilton, the severe weather threat is over. You're done with it. Winfield, you're done with it. That line is coming through Hackleburg. Let's go back to the reflectivity. Velocity is really noisy. There's no well-defined tornado here. That line segment coming through Hackleburg, it's approaching Haleyville. Bear Creek is right here. It'll be coming through Bear Creek around Phillips High School pretty soon. It'll be coming through Haleyville fairly soon. And again, we've not seen any evidence of a tornado, but the Weather Service believed that there could be a couple of spin-ups involved in this thing, and that'll be moving up into Franklin County. This is Phil Campbell right here, ravaged by that horrible EF5 tornado April 27, 2011. And again, that will be advancing into Winston and Walker and Tuscaloosa counties. So the tornado warning continues to be trimmed. And again, this is for a small part of northeastern Marion County. Hamilton, the risk is over. Guin, your severe weather risk has ended. You can go to bed if you want to. Same thing for Winfield. but it's coming into Hackleburg right now, potential for strong winds, a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning. So let's go down the line. We'll take a look at the line itself. And again, this is a long line where any part of this line could produce some strong winds. The line stretches down through Fayette, and again, coming through Brilliant, Fayette, Gordo, Utah, and Demopolis. And again, that's the real time right there. That's the real time. Again, what you see in Birmingham, that's just good old-fashioned rain. Nothing severe for the Birmingham Metro. Some light rain around Anniston, Gadsden, Gunnersville, Albertville. No problems here. But again, this is just the line of storms we're going to watch right here that will be progressing through the entire state. Now, north and east of Birmingham, there's no surface-based instability here, so we're hoping the storms weaken as they cross over into northeast Alabama, east of I-65. But down to the south, we've got instability all the way on the eastern side of the state, below Interstate 20 down here, so they could hang tight. And the storms will be coming into Tuscaloosa 10:30 to 11 o'clock tonight. The Birmingham Metro probably about midnight to 1 a.m. Anniston, Gadsden sometime toward 2 a.m. But it just seems like, I've just not seen any structural damage.
No, and usually our emergency manager partners are very, very good on getting out information. So if they're not giving us information, probably means they don't have information, which, aside from a few trees down, not seeing or hearing of any structural damage is great news, and that'd be a great trend to go with throughout the rest of the evening. But pea-sized hail, yeah. And then we talked about the power lines being down up in Guin, but right now that's it. And very heavy rain still falling from all the way up in Marion County, Fayette through Pickens County, Greene County, Tuscaloosa County. You're up next. Walker County and Winston County's already in that severe thunderstorm warning, even though it hasn't reached there yet. They're just warning out ahead of it. Very, very good choices. Eventually, we'll probably see Bibb County, Jefferson County included in the severe thunderstorm warning as well, just as this line progresses off to the east. And very similar to what we've seen up in Marion County, we could see an isolated tornado or two, but just to remember to treat a severe thunderstorm warning as if it were a tornado warning. You can have brief spin-ups. You can
XO5 real quick. I want to show, this is the Algo traffic camera in downtown Hamilton as the severe storms were coming through or approaching. And again, you can see that it's pretty windy there, and the rain will be coming in. Again, this is not live. And by the way, it's time lapse, so the cars, I promise they're not driving quite that fast. But again, that's a look at the storms coming into Hamilton earlier this evening. But the risk is over for Hamilton now. You are done with it. All right, so let's go back to the radar. Live at 10:15. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Colbert, Franklin, parts of Lawrence, Marion, Winston, Walker, Fayette, Tuscaloosa, parts of Pickens, hail. And again, you can see the warnings are basically going away as the storms move away from these counties. So basically the risk is ended for Lamar. Looks like the Pickens warning is gone. The Greene warning is gone. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect east of the line. Again, Fayette, Marion, Franklin, Colbert, parts of Lawrence, Winston, Walker, Tuscaloosa, hail. And again, these storms should be in the city of Tuscaloosa, I'd say 10:30 to 11 o'clock in about 30 minutes or so. And with these storms, we have the potential for strong straight line winds that could reach 50, maybe 60 miles an hour. Keep in mind, to be severe, we need winds of 58 miles an hour. Got a report of trees and power lines down on County Road 9 in Gordo in Pickens County, coming from the Sky Watchers. And again, that's been the prime concern. It's the downed trees. The Weather Service Birmingham, by the way, they're not going to extend this tornado warning into Winston. There's been no evidence of a tornado in Marion, and with that being the case, there's just no need to extend that into Winston. And hopefully, there's no guarantee. Hopefully, this is the last tornado warning of the event. We expect mainly severe thunderstorm warnings from here on out, although there could be an isolated tornado later tonight. So again, if you're in Haleyville, the storm's coming in on you right now. They'll be in Double Springs pretty soon. Storms are coming into Berry and Fayette County. The main line is now just south and east of Fayette. The line is coming into far western Tuscaloosa County around Elrod and Buell. We got the line sitting on the Warrior River, about to cross out of Greene into Hale counties. They'll be in Greensboro soon. Storms approaching Demopolis. In fact, let's look at our Demopolis sky cam. We'll push that up through the system. This is at the Demopolis Civic Center, and we're going to run it through our system here, Theo, so we can get all the logos and everything right on this. So this is the sky cam at Demopolis, and again, to get your bearings straight here, get my stuff out of the way. This is looking right down the Tom Bigby. This is Sumter County. This is Marengo County. This is the Tom Bigby River. The camera's on top of the Demopolis Civic Center, and we're looking south down toward the Demopolis Lock and Dam, which is right around Webb's Bend down here. So again, Sumter County here, Marengo County here. That's the Demopolis Water Tower right there. And again, this is the Tom Bigby, and that line of storms is coming into Demopolis. And you can see, obviously, a lot of thunder and lightning and gusty winds. Let's move the camera and kind of show the front of the Civic Center, if we can, Riley, over on the front. Probably going to be easier to see. There's hardly any light out here across over the Tom Bigby at night, unless a tugboat happens to come through. So, again, there's Bluff Hall. Keep going. Keep on going. That's Bluff Hall, historic Bluff Hall right there. Yeah, this is a much better view. You can see those sheets of rain being pulled in here. This is Commissioners Avenue right here. Bluff Hall is right here. And again, the line of storms coming through Demopolis, severe storms, Marengo County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Hello to you. I would not want to be driving in this, but again, everybody's got a different risk tolerance level. I say that all the time. I don't give travel advice. For some people driving in this, it's no big deal. I would probably not want to. Again, here's the front of the Civic Center right here. And again,
is that no? That's raindrops. I thought it was hail bouncing off the roof. I think that's just raindrops.
Yeah, it's rain. I was in this building for the Demopolis, but again, that's the line of severe storms coming through there as we speak. So let's go to the radar once again. And again, the line of severe storms now from Russellville in Franklin County down to Haleyville in Winston County, Berry in Fayette County, Elrod in Tuscaloosa County, down to Demopolis and Marengo County. All up and down that line, we could see strong straight line winds, maybe gusting to 50 or 60 miles an hour. There could be some tree damage. There could be some power outages. And that line should be in the Tuscaloosa area, we'll say about 10:30 to 10:45. The Birmingham Metro sometime around midnight tonight, probably 2 o'clock or so for Anniston and Gadsden. And again, like we've talked about, the air is more stable north and east of Birmingham, and we're hoping that mitigates the intensity of these storms, and they'll show signs of weakening as they move into the more stable air over here later tonight. But again, the dynamics are really impressive, and sometimes the dynamics can override the thermodynamics, and these things can stay stronger than you might think for a while. And just the forward momentum alone, they're moving pretty quickly, can produce some damage as well. Power is out on Harmony Road in Belk in Fayette County. We have lines down on Alabama 253 in the Twin community. That's up in Marion County.
And
we have a report of a tree down on a...
Hush. At least we can give good news for Marion. The tornado warning has been canceled. So right now we just have severe thunderstorm warnings, but just remember, treat those warnings as you would a tornado warning, even though there are no active tornado warnings within the state right now. So you're getting some damage reports coming out of Marion. You said a tree on a house. You were saying?
Yes, that was a tree on a house in Hamilton, coming from one of our sky watchers there. Getting a report, looks like traffic is stopped along Interstate 22 in Marion County. That could be related to down trees on the interstate.
Let's see. I don't know if we have any cameras up towards on 22. We have a camera right off the interstate, milepost 3.
Hey, let's take WEX 05 real quick if we can, Theo. This is going to be downtown Fayette as the storms are coming through. That's what it looked like. And again, this is a very typical scene tonight. Again, that's downtown Fayette. And that's what you can expect as the storms come through. And the good news, the power is on, as you can see. And I'd say in that particular video there, the winds are gusting maybe to 25, 30, nothing especially heavy. But of course, that's just one moment in time. There could be a time where the winds were stronger than that. But that's an example of what's going on here tonight. And if we can, I want to punch up the Demopolis Skycam behind me again so we can take a look at that. Just kind of, it's often better for you to see a visual what these things are doing, and with these cameras we can actually see what's going on here. So let's take the graphic system, and again, this is the view coming from the Demopolis Civic Center looking to the northeast. Again, Commissioners Avenue here. Looks like just a good steady rain falling now. I think the heaviest part of the line has shifted a bit east of Demopolis, and once that initial part passes, you'll just see a good steady rain for a while. Again, historic Bluff Hall. If you've never been here, you really ought to tour that building. That's an amazing place. Bluff Hall is here, but again, just a good soaking rain falling at the Demopolis Civic Center with thunder, lightning, but the good news, the power is on. And if we can, let's pump up those power outages one more time. I want to take a look at that. The power outage map gives us a pretty good story of what the wind is like. We can pretty much tell, and I can see the numbers have been increasing over Marion and Fayette here. So let's do a pixel query and see what we've got here. In Lamar, 3,000 without power, 2,000 in Marion, 1,500 in Fayette. So the greatest concentration of power outages now are Fayette, Hamilton, or Lamar counties in northwest Alabama. Total there approximately 6,500 outages in northwest Alabama. Numbers are quite low elsewhere around the rest of the state. So back to the radar. And I should mention we have new severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Lauderdale County up in the Tennessee Valley. That includes Florence and the Shoals. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Clark, Monroe, Washington, Wilcox, and Choctaw counties down in southwest Alabama. So again, the whole line, all the way from Florence basically down to Mobile, blanketed with severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, you can see the line now. It's basically come through Haleyville. It'll be coming through Double Springs pretty soon. Next up in Walker County, it's coming through Eldridge now. It's going to be coming through Carbon Hill pretty soon. The line coming through Berry and Fayette County. The line approaching the cities of Tuscaloosa and Northport. That line is approaching Northport as we speak. It's out there toward Coker right now in western Tuscaloosa County, then down toward Ralph and Foster's in the southwestern part of the county. And maybe we can punch up the Tuscaloosa camera. I think we've lost control of the actual pan on that one, but let's punch it up real quick behind me.
Let's see. I know we have a plethora of algo cameras down there.
Quickly to see what it looks like. This is our camera that's on top of DCH Regional Medical Center. Reports of lines down on Highway 107 in Fayette as we speak.
Looks like.
Yeah, take that one if you've got it, Theo. Thank you.
Yeah, we have no Tuscaloosa camera over here.
Okay, so this is University Boulevard at Campus Drive. This is basically the strip, if you will, in Tuscaloosa. And the storms are not there yet. They'll be there in about 15 minutes from now. So it would be interesting to watch that camera in maybe 15 minutes to see what that looks like. But again, Tuscaloosa County, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. That is in effect until 10:45 tonight. So back to the radar. Again, we're kind of bouncing back between the cameras and the radar. We show those cameras because we've learned through social science studies that you tend to respond better when you actually see the storms and what they're doing. So we have the line of severe storms now from a little east of Haleyville approaching Double Springs, curving down toward Natural Bridge in Winston County, then down toward Eldridge and Carbon Hill in Walker County, then down toward the community of Berry in Fayette County, near Coker, Moores Bridge, Tuscaloosa County, then right on top of Utah. And let's keep going down to the south, Riley. Storms have come through Demopolis. They're coming through Linden, right down Highway 43, Marengo County. And then to the south, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for most of southwest Alabama. So again, all the way from Florence down to Mobile, basically that whole western side of the state flanked with these severe thunderstorm warnings. And we should mention there are no tornado warnings as we speak. And normally when that's the case, we go back to regular programming, but tonight, because of the potential of widespread damage with the line, we thought we'd just stay with weather coverage instead of going to the Ginzu knives or pocket fisherman commercials. And by the way, I got a pocket fisherman from Dennis Martin. Greatest gift I've ever received. I've always wanted a pocket fisherman, and I actually have one now. So, Dennis, thank you. One of our directors back here. For the Birmingham Metro, the line should be in the Birmingham Metro, I'd say midnight to 1 a.m. Anniston, Gadsden, closer to 2 a.m. and we're hoping that the line will weaken. Let's look at our tornado watch, and again, the tornado watch is going to cover a pretty good chunk of the western two-thirds of the state. The easternmost counties in the watch would be Morgan, Cullman, Blount, St. Clair, Talladega, Coosa, Elmore, and Montgomery. And counties off to the west, the watch does not include Etowah, Calhoun, Cherokee, Cleburne, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, or Macon. And we note the Weather Service has cleared the western row of counties here. How about that? I'm telling you, once you're one and done with this stuff tonight, once that line passes, it's over. So the tornado watch has been canceled for Marion, Lamar, Pickens, Greene, and Sumter. You're done with it. Go to bed. It's all over. But the watch continues on to the east. And again, notice all of the warnings. Severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Can we expand this out? I want to show the Tennessee Valley. Folks watch us statewide that we're on the digital side. Let's keep going now. There we go. So we got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Lauderdale, Colbert, parts of Lawrence, Franklin, Winston, eastern Fayette, Walker, all of Tuscaloosa. Now let's go down to the south. We have Hale, Marengo, parts of Wilcox, Clark, parts of Choctaw, Washington counties. And down south, let's check out that tornado warning. This is a tornado warning in effect now for parts of Conecuh and Monroe counties for a tornado here. In fact, I can pull that one up on my system here. I'll be curious to see what's going on down there. Again, this is...
It looks like we have a few more reports coming out of Sumter County, Shorter Avenue, Buncombe at County Road 9, and the Ward community, Patton Road at Alabama 28, the Coatopa community. First two are wrapped in power lines. No other damage reports at the moment. And also, Theo, you said we had a QR code to, when it's safe, don't go out right now and do it, but when it's safe, we would like to see your pictures of damage to our Chime In. You can scan the QR code and be sent directly to a portal where you can send us your damage pictures, because that's what gets people alert. That's what lets people know, hey, something's going on. They see damage, they can confirm something's happened. So remember, scan the QR code. That'll take you to our Chime In page where you can send us your damage when it's safe. Don't go out right now when winds are gusting 40, 50 miles per hour. Go out when it's safe.
Yeah, let's look at WEX 05 real quick. I want to show this tornado warning down in South Alabama. So again, this is the potential tornado. Well, we just got a volume scan update. It's right here. And that potential tornado is moving to the north. That road is US 84 that runs from Excel back over to Evergreen. And the community in the path of this is Repton right here. So again, a possible tornado that is moving toward Repton. This is to the east of Monroeville to the west of Evergreen. So if you're in South Alabama, just be aware of that. We have a tornado warning in effect there for that US 84 corridor in Conecuh and Monroe counties. All right, so back to the radar here. We are at 10:30. We have no tornado warnings for our end of the state. That tornado warning was down in South Alabama, and again, that's for parts of Monroe and Conecuh counties for a possible tornado approaching Repton down in South Alabama. In fact, I see a new tornado warning just crossed here. Let's see what that one's for. That one might be the one for Conecuh and Monroe, and I think it was. Yeah, that's the tornado warning for Conecuh and Monroe.
Mobile County, I think that's a new one as well.
Right, okay, that's what I just saw flashing here. That's for northern Mobile County. So again, we have a possible tornado that will be passing north of Mobile, north of Saraland. That'll be crossing the Delta if that thing stays together. It's coming out of southeastern Mississippi. So again, that's the possible tornado that's approaching Repton. And this is a new tornado warning that will likely stay north of Mobile for northern Mobile County. So again, South Alabama getting some tornado warnings. We have two down there, but up on this end of the state, it's mainly a QLCS, a quasi-linear convective system, a line of storms stretching from Double Springs to Carbon Hill to Berry to Northport and Tuscaloosa to Greensboro, then down to Linden in Marengo County. Just this long line. There are no tornado warnings for the northern half of the state. With this line, you can expect winds possibly gusting to 40, 50, 60 miles per hour in spots. And this will be coming across the Tuscaloosa airport, so we'll get a good observation from that spot here in just a second to see how it behaves. Weather Service in Birmingham a little concerned about this surge right here. Let's go down to Hale County. And,
yeah, I see it. Yeah.
He's got, looks like what could be potential for some really strong winds right in through here. And again, Highway 69 is right here from Moundville down to Greensboro. Havana Junction is right here. And then Highway 60 goes down to Akron. Highway 69 goes down to Greensboro. And again, you can see there's broad rotation here, but there's just evidence the winds could be pretty strong in through here. So again, out of the entire line, it looks like the greatest wind potential at this point in northern Hale County, in that broad zone here between Greensboro and Moundville. This is the Tuscaloosa County line. Tuscaloosa County here, Hale County down here. So again, just we encourage you to consider being in a safe place. If you're in Hale especially, but really anywhere in the path of this line, you just might want to be in a small interior room, hall, closet, bathroom near the center of the house, away from windows, lowest floor, and have on a helmet in case a tree comes down, which could easily happen, especially with a situation like this. So again, now let's go back to the reflectivity for just a moment. Again, that's the velocity. Again, you can see how this thing is kind of bulging out. We see these bulges from time to time, and within that bow, especially the apex of the bow, there could be some pretty strong winds in here. And again, right here, this is Havana Junction, Highway 69 going south toward Highway 14 is down in through here. And that segment will be coming out through parts of Bibb County ultimately. Over here, you've got Centerville and Brent. This is Duncanville, that's US 82 right there. So again, out of all of the areas we have, the greatest potential in terms of strong winds would most likely be in northern Hale, but the entire line, all the way from Florence to Mobile, is capable of producing some pretty strong winds. Any updates on damage back there, Riley?
So far, I haven't seen anything. Severe thunderstorm warning for Dallas and Perry County. Remember, Dallas is Selma. Perry County is Marion Military Institute. We could go a little bit south to take a look at that. Remember, it hasn't come yet. They're warning out ahead of that line. But remember, Perry County, Marion Military Institute, Dallas County, Selma, Selmont, West Selmont, and Valley Grande. Yeah, keeping a very close eye on that system in Hale County. It looks like what we saw earlier with that flying notch that comes within that line, and also some pretty high reflectivity. But so far, no other reports coming out of Hale County, and no other damage beyond tree damage, power line damage, which I guess if that's the extent of it, can't complain too much.
Yeah, let's take that live camera. This is coming from Northport, and that's what it looks like. And this is US 82. What was the intersection, Theo? Okay, so that's McFarland Boulevard in Northport. And again, we can kind of, the line is just now arriving. We can kind of watch this to see what you can expect. Again, from all the reports I'm seeing, it sure looks like that we've got wind velocities that have been in the probably 40, 50. And in some cases, the winds could gust to 60, maybe even up to 70 in spots. Again, northern Hale is kind of that spot we're focused on right now, where it looks like the winds might exceed 60 there. But again, this is what it looks like in Northport. And again, that line segment is coming on through Tuscaloosa here at 10:35. And severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect. And on a night like tonight, with such dynamic forcing involved, the action could be, the proper action is to consider treating tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings like a tornado warning, where you want to be sheltered. You might want to have on a helmet just in case a tree happens to come down through the roof or something like that. And that's happened before, and that's going to happen again. You ask our friends in Homewood a year ago, December of last year, on that Saturday night. You know what they had to deal with, and the same thing could happen for some spots tonight. But I've heard of no injuries in Alabama tonight. We've heard of no really major structural damage. We've had reports of a few trees down on homes, and those trends could very well continue. So again, that's what it's looking like coming from our Skycam there, or what are the Algo cameras in Northport. And so let's go back to the radar, the line itself coming into Tuscaloosa County. But again, this little segment right here is what we find interesting. This is in northern Hale County, and that area between Greensboro and Moundville, evidence we could see some really strong wind in through here. I don't think there's a tornado there, but I do think we have some really strong winds, and that surging line segment will likely come out perhaps toward Bibb County, Centerville and Brent right here. But the line itself running from Double Springs, approaching Jasper now, will probably check our Jasper camera here in just a second. Down to Barry, down to Northport, down to Greensboro, and then down to near Faunsdale and Dayton and Sunny South, down to the south. And again, these storms should be in the Birmingham Metro, we'll say, by midnight to 1 a.m. In fact, let's punch up that Jasper camera and turn it west, Riley, if we can. This will be our Jasper sky cam. That's looking to the east-southeast. We're going to point it in the other direction and tilt up a little bit if we can. That might be the greatest tilt we can achieve. And again, we can kind of watch the line coming in from the west. This camera is on top of the King Building, which is located in the middle of downtown Jasper, right across the street from the Walker County Courthouse. And again, will be interesting to watch this and see how this behaves. The storm should be in downtown Jasper here in just a matter of minutes, I'd say by probably 10:41 or 10:42, 3-4 minutes from now. So again, we'll watch that camera carefully. But let's go back to the radar. Again, we'll bounce back between the cameras and the radar. And again, on a night like tonight, it's going to be different. I can't call out landmarks. We're not dealing with tornadoes. We're dealing with a long line, a linear setup here of storms with potential for damaging straight line winds. And again, let me say, behind the line, you can see we have some heavier rain coming into West Alabama. Nothing severe. Once this initial line passes, you're done with severe weather for the night. That's a good thing. But the line again from Double Springs, approaching now the western shore of Smith Lake, coming into downtown Jasper, then coming into Tuscaloosa, Northport, and again, down to the south, we've got that segment right here that shows evidence where we could see enhanced wind velocities in northern hail between Greensboro and Moundville. And that segment will be coming over into Bibb County. And again, if there's any enhancement of wind, it could be right in through here. And again, that will be moving on to the east. We have new warnings in effect now, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Perry and Dallas counties. And again, just about every county in advance of this line will have a severe thunderstorm warning. And this will not be for a part of the county. These are not polygon warnings tonight. These are county warnings because of the nature of the situation here. And again, up to the north, we have warnings in effect for Lawrence, parts of Morgan counties, up into the Tennessee Valley, parts of Colbert, and Lauderdale as well. Just a lot of rain over here. And again, we're hoping that just maybe this rain we have falling in Birmingham, Anniston, Gadsden, that will help to really mitigate the intensity of this and create some weakening. I can't promise that's going to happen, but just maybe because of this rain-cooled, stable air mass we have over here, that will show help maybe to see some weakening here. We'll just have to wait and see. All right, Riley, what you got?
Continued severe thunderstorm warning for hail, Marengo. Lamar Emergency Management reports a roof. I'm guessing that means roof off of a home at County Road 34 and Lampkin Road, southwest of Vernon, coincident with a TDS, or a tornado debris signature. So, they'll have to go out and survey that, but if they can line that up, we could have had a tornado go through parts of Lamar County earlier. County Road 34, Lampkin Road, and looks like some heavier rain falling near the Winston, Walker County line on the western portions of Smith Lake, and they're still keeping an eye on this particular storm down in Hale County, crossing Highway 69 between Moundville and Greensboro. We'll zoom into that as well before it gets into Bibb County. So we have Greensboro in the center of the county, Moundville in the northern portion of the county. We'll go to velocity. And there might be something just southeast of Moundville, maybe, but right now it's just not looking that impressive. We'll go to storm relative velocity. And once again, maybe a little bit of a notch just the southeast of Moundville. And that'll eventually be in the western portions of Bibb County, maybe the southern portions of Tuscaloosa County, but really along Highway 82 coming out of Bibb County into Tuscaloosa County. You just need to keep an eye on this particular system because we could maybe have a quick spin up, but as of right now, there's no active tornado warning with this particular system. Continued severe thunderstorm warning for Tuscaloosa, but it actually looks like they trimmed some of the western portion of the county out of this severe thunderstorm warning, and that's what we've been saying all night. Once that leading edge pushes through, it's one and done. It'll be over with. It'll just be rain. Won't have to worry about any more threat of severe weather, tornadoes, or anything. And still not getting.
Theo, can you punch up that sky cam on the strip in Tuscaloosa by any chance? I know the line is coming through Tuscaloosa, and again, we'd like to kind of take a look at it. We'll check Jasper here in just a second, but again, the camera, we have an algo camera that is on University Boulevard at Campus Drive, near the campus of the University of Alabama, just a couple of blocks down from Bryant-Denny Stadium. So that's what it looks like tonight. And again, it just doesn't look that bad at this point. It's obviously raining, and we've got thunder and lightning, and we've got gusty winds, but the power's on, which is good. So again, that's a shot of the thunderstorm coming through the city of Tuscaloosa, specifically the Strip out there. I used to live, when I was a kid, we moved to Tuscaloosa when I started 5th grade. I lived just very close to there. How times have changed since those days. I was at 10th Street and 13th Avenue, which is now Paul Bryant Drive and Gene Stallings Avenue. All right, so let's go to our Jasper Skycam if we can. We'll take a look at that. Now, again, we'd like to continue to show the actual thunderstorm situation itself. So this is a live look at our Jasper Skycam. You can see this kind of a shelf cloud coming in from the west, and conditions will likely start to deteriorate here in just a matter of minutes. This is part of a long line running all the way from the Tennessee Valley, the Tennessee state line, all the way down into southwest Alabama. And within the line, we can have spots where you can see a lot of strong winds, enough to knock down trees and power lines. And again, shortly, not now, shortly we'll go through the power outages again. So far, the higher outages have been concentrated in Lamar and Pickens, Marion, and Fayette counties over there on the western side of the state. That's where the greatest outages have been so far. Again, you can see the shelf. This is a shelf cloud. If it was during the day, we'd have some pretty wicked shelf clouds, I would say that. But again, the shelf cloud is coming into Jasper, and soon you'll see the rain beginning to increase here. Again, this camera's on top of the King Building. This is First Baptist Church of Jasper right here. Back behind me, that would be the Walker County Courthouse. You can see on the other side over here. That's the Walker County Courthouse, which, by the way, was hit by a violent tornado. That building right there on April 3rd, 1974, the historic super outbreak of April 1974. So back to the radar. And again, we are watching this long line of storms, and I know it's a little unusual. Typically, we're not on television when we have no tornado warnings. The tornado warnings are down in South Alabama. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for parts of Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, Lawrence, Morgan, Limestone, Winston, Walker, Tuscaloosa, Hale, Perry, and Dallas counties, and farther to the south. In fact, let's go south real quick. I wanted to show those tornado warnings because a lot of people are watching us in other parts of the state as well. In South Alabama, we have tornado warnings in effect for a couple of spots I wanted to show very quickly. We can go south.
Disconnected from my laptop. There we go.
Or you can just go to the actual system itself and pick it up over there.
Go south. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a confirmed tornado in Mobile County.
Right. So again, we have a confirmed tornado based on a TDS that's going to be passing north of Mobile. And again, we have a tornado near Repton that's on the Conecuh-Monroe County line. That's along US 84 between Monroeville and Evergreen. Just wanted to show that. And obviously, those folks in these polygons down here should be sheltered. And again, let's go to Wexo 5 real quick while we're looking at some other things. I wanted to show some damage. This is coming from Sulligent in Lamar County. This is some of the damage that occurred there from the line of storms that came through earlier tonight. For Lamar County, the risk of severe storms has ended. But again, that is some damage from Sulligent in Lamar County. And again, a lot of these videos, I want to say this was taken from Lynn up in northwest Alabama, where the storms have been coming through, producing that. Tremendous amounts of rain, gusty winds, a lot of lightning. And more video to show. Again, this is all within the last couple of hours within the line itself. And you can see it. This thing means business. It's packing quite a punch. And obviously, at that particular point, it's awfully windy there. All right, so let's go back to the radar. 1046, and again, we've got these warnings in effect. And I tell you what we ought to do real quick is take a look at that Mobile County situation. Let's go to Wexo 5 if we can. And again, this is the Mobile single site radar. And the tornado is right here. This is north of Sims in northern Mobile County. And I'm going to put on the correlation coefficient product, and it's pretty noisy, but at one point I think we had debris that was being lofted, and we pretty much lost that. But again, that's a possible tornado that is north of US 45, US 43, and headed over toward the Mobile Delta. So let's go back to our graphic system in-house here. There's your line of storms now. The line of storms coming into the western part of Smith Lake, approaching downtown Jasper, downtown Tuscaloosa. Storms dropping on down to the south through the eastern part of Hale County. But again, once this line passes, you're done with severe storms. We can give an all clear for Fayette, Gordo, Reform, Aliceville, Sulligent, Vernon, Hamilton, Winfield, Russellville, Florence, Demopolis, York, Livingston. You're done. Go to bed for the night. Storms coming through Tuscaloosa now. Let's go back to our Jasper camera if we can. Riley, let's punch that up real quick. I'm just curious to see what it looks like. And let's kind of maybe go back to the west. Tell you what, let's pan it over toward downtown the other way. Let's go this way with it. And there we go. Kind of take a look at downtown Jasper there. And again, we've got the power on, which is always good. Notice how that light pole down here is shaking and baking. Look at the Christmas lights. Wow. 'Tis the season. And again, this is the leading edge of that line coming into Jasper, downtown Walker County. Light's kind of having a hard time right there. And that's what you can expect as the line comes on through. Any damage updates, Riley, from your end?
So far, nothing. Hail circulation has weakened. That was about 5 minutes ago. We have no active tornado warnings. Still, we're still dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings. And probably Jefferson called what they've been doing all night, warning out ahead of it, even if the main line isn't here yet. So Jefferson County, maybe Shelby counties, Chilton County, Coleman, Blount, St. Clair counties, probably within the next hour or so, we are expecting at least severe thunderstorm warnings. But in Slack, fortunately, no talks of any rotation with any of these storms, which is good news. We can just let these storms be loud and blow through and be over with. From what we can see,
getting a lot of reports. Just saw one of trees across US 43 north of Linden near Chickasaw State Park. And again, that's a problem. This is why I would not want to drive tonight. There could be trees down and you're turning around a curve and you can't see the trees, that could be a problem. But again, trees down across the road on Highway 43 South near Chickasaw State Park. That's in Linden. Just got a report of the power going out on the campus of the University of Alabama. Got a report of some trees down in Gardendale, which is not related to this. That's related to the wet soil. This stuff in here is not severe. Storms have not reached there yet. Multiple trees down in and around Sulligent in Lamar County, which makes sense. And again, it just seems like we've got mainly tree and power line damage. 1050, that line of severe storms coming into Smith Lake. It starts up in the Tennessee Valley, up toward Moulton, coming into Jasper, Tuscaloosa, curving down into Marengo County, down toward Faunsdale and Dayton. We note now we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Bibb County. This includes Centerville and Brent. We have no tornado warnings for the northern half of the state. The tornado warnings are down south. And again, the storm should be in the Interstate 65 range here, Cullman and Birmingham, I'd say around 12 midnight tonight, midnight to 1 a.m. Then coming over toward Anniston and Gadsden, maybe around 2 o'clock. And again, we're hoping, and hope is not you don't run your weather operation based on hope, but we can still hope. We hope that the storms begin to weaken somewhat, especially across northeast Alabama, north of Interstate 20, because the air is somewhat cool and stable here, just this big massive rain falling. And we'll see. But again, remember, for the storms to be technically severe, you need one of two things: 1-inch diameter hail, we've seen none of that, or 58 mile per hour winds or greater. That is the severe thunderstorm criteria. You talk with 10 different people, they'll give you 10 different definitions of a severe storm. The official definition, either 1-inch diameter hail or 58 mile per hour wind. And the concern with this entire line, it's the wind. And again, we've had a lot of trees blown down tonight. And let's look at our power outage map, Riley, and maybe get some updated numbers, and again, that really tells a pretty good story in terms of
County.
Of where the higher wind velocities have been. And again, it looks like the three counties with the greatest number of power outages are Lamar, Marion, and Fayette up here in northwest Alabama. The lighter shades of blue, the darker shades of blue, not that many outages, but I would imagine up through here we probably have, again, last time we looked, we had about 6,000 outages out in these three counties alone. So we'll do a pixel query and see what we have up here.
James, you might have to take over on WEX 05 for a second. I'm having a technical difficulty. I'll just need to X out of this program and reopen it. So if we could go back to radar scope on WEX 05 when you're ready, that'll give me a chance to click out of this real quick and get it back so I can get my cursor. Because I was steering it on the laptop died. Now I can go back to the system. So let's try this.
So let's do something kind of cool here, Theo. Let's put that behind me if we can. Again, you'll see me magically pop on the screen here. So I'm going to boom, just like that. So again, here's the situation. We have a line of severe storms, and again, the line itself begins up in the Tennessee Valley. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for parts of Limestone, Morgan, and Lawrence counties up here in the Tennessee Valley. Severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Winston, Walker, Tuscaloosa, Bibb, Perry, Dallas counties. And again, this is just light rain you see here. Galveston, Gadsden, Birmingham, just light rain. Some thunder, nothing severe. This is the concern, and again, you can see from time to time these little segments bow out like this, and that could produce some pretty strong winds. Looks like one segment coming into Decatur from the southwest, probably midnight, maybe 12:15, something like that. But I want to go down south while we have this up and kind of look at the tornadic situation that we've got down to the south. We have the good news, the warning that was in effect for that area around Repton down here. This is Evergreen, Monroeville. We had a tornado warning right here. That is expired, no longer in effect. So for the US 84 corridor, everything looks okay at the moment. We still have that warning in effect for the storm that is north of Mobile. And the Weather Service has extended that tornado warning over into the Mobile Delta region here. This is Interstate 65 right here. This is US 43 right here. Creola, Bucks, Axis, Saraland, Satsuma. And again, the Weather Service believes there could be a tornado right in through here. And again, this is north of downtown Mobile, north of the community of Sims. We'll take a look at the various velocity displays. And again, you can see it right there. So again, we have a possible tornado here. And again, that'll be crossing ultimately US Highway 43 and Interstate 65. This is north of Sims, north of Mobile, way down in South Alabama. All right. So let's go back to our main graphic system now. We'll put that up, and let's take a look at our power outages if we can, and we'll see if we can get some of the latest numbers here. Again, the Weather Service, by the way, is pretty concerned about Bibb, western Bibb, with a bowing segment that could produce some stronger straight-line winds. So 3,000 outages now for Marion County and Lamar County, 1,500 for Fayette. So those are your three big counties in terms of power outages. So 7,500 outages for these three counties alone. Some outages elsewhere, but the numbers are not as extensive as that. And again, this is kind of a good way to see where the higher wind velocities have been tonight so far. So again, parts of Lamar, Fayette, and Marion counties. Now let's go back to the radar. I want to show Hale and Bibb. We've got kind of a bowing segment here. Right here that's coming out of Hale and moving up into Bibb County, and the Weather Service believes that this could produce some fairly strong winds. It seems as though the winds have not been that bad in Tuscaloosa, but again, right in through here, there's evidence that the winds could be fairly strong coming up into places like Pondville, Centerville, and Brent, and maybe West Blockton. So again, Bibb County, severe thunderstorm warning. And I really don't think we're going to see, and by the way, Jefferson County is now under a severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in Jefferson, the city of Birmingham, your weather radio has just sounded on the reflectivity. And I want to show, once again, kind of a broader view so we can show the Birmingham Metro. So a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Cullman and Jefferson. Those are two new counties added. And the way it's working tonight, understand, the whole county is under a warning. This is not the norm. Normally, the polygons are smaller for a small part of the county, but because this is just a long line, everybody's affected, and the whole county is involved here. So again, all of Cullman, all of Jefferson under a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's expand it out a little bit so we can show Cullman County. You can see that line of storms coming across Smith Lake. It'll be coming through into Cullman County. It's coming right down Highway 278 at this point. And again, 157 here, 278 here. It's approaching the community of West Point, Battleground. And again, that'll be in downtown Cullman, probably about midnight tonight. The storm's sitting on top of Smith Lake as we speak. Let's look at our Jasper sky cam. It should be pouring rain right now. We'll take a look at the, kind of see what the wind is like up there in Jasper now. And again, not that bad. There's just not that much wind. You can see the trees are not moving much. Earlier, we saw some pretty gusty winds with the arrival of the line, but now it's just simply some, heavy rain falling there. So again, Jasper's just got a good soaking rain.
Yeah, the wind has really died down. Looks like the lightning's easing up. That's pretty good news on the backside of the system as it pushes through. That is, everything's starting to calm down a little bit. And yeah.
So the Weather Service has expanded our tornado watch. So if we can, let's go to the tornado watch graphic, and I will show you the new counties that have been added, or maybe not expanding it. They've taken some out. Okay, they have expanded it. Okay, so this is an expansion of the tornado watch. So now if you're in East Alabama, you are in the watch until 4 a.m. And again, you can see that this will include Etowah, Cherokee, Calhoun, Cleburne, Clay, Randolph, Tallapoosa, Chambers, Lee, Macon, and Russell. These are counties originally not in the watch. They have now been added to the tornado watch. So again, we have a tornado watch until 4 a.m. for Central and East Alabama. This does include Anniston, Gadsden, Ashland, Lineville, Heflin, Roanoke, places like that. The watch has been canceled for Marion, Fayette, Lamar, Pickens, Greene, and Sumter. And that watch will continue to be canceled as the line of storms moves on to the east. But I just wanted to mainly point out that we now have the eastern counties of the state in the watch until 4 a.m. And again, the main line, wind. All right, let's go back to the radar. Riley, kind of walk us through it. What you got?
So right now, some pretty high reflectivity values about to move into extreme northwestern Coleman County. We're going to zoom out a little bit, just kind of get a broad picture. So the extreme southeastern portions of Tuscaloosa County, that's going to be not far from the wildlife management area and the National Forest in southern Tuscaloosa County and northwestern Bibb County, and some fairly heavy rain and lightning in parts of Perry County. That's slowly all moving off to the west. And we're going to take a look at velocity as well, just to see if there's any notches in that line. But so far, even though they've extended and expanded the tornado watch, we're not seeing signs of a tornado, but it's still a good decision that they extended that just in case we see anything trying to spin up. Maybe a little bit of something or another right over Marion and Perry County. That's where the Marion Military Institute is. That'll be generally moving off to the northeast near Centerville, Brent, probably staying south of West Blockton. But a good bit of the Talladega National Forest in southern Bibb County could maybe see a little bit of circulation. This is fairly close to the radar, so it's not like we're looking extremely high up in a system, but it's just something to keep an eye on for now. And right now, the National Weather Service isn't mentioning any other rotation.
Yeah, again, I just don't expect that many tornado warnings for the rest of tonight. Could there be one? Yes, but it's not especially likely. So let's see here. Let's quickly take WEXO 5 real quick if we can. Again, this is some of the storm damage we're seeing here. I want to say this was up around Nauvoo, near the Walker-Winston County line. And this is one good reason you probably don't want to be driving tonight, and that a lot of trees have come down and it's dark and you can't see anything. And if you come across a big old tree that's come down across the road, that is certainly not a good thing. So again, back to the radar here at 11:01. And again, we stress in this part of Alabama, we have no tornado warnings in effect. We have multiple severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. So let's expand it out, put the reflectivity back on, kind of give you a reset for those that are just joining us. We have a line of severe storms now from near Hartselle in Morgan County down to Smith Lake, Jasper, near Vance in Tuscaloosa County, Pondville in Bibb County, to near Marion down in Perry County. And within the line, there could be a few spots where strong winds will knock down trees and cause power outages. Again, we have about 7,000 outages now, specifically up here in parts of Lamar, Fayette, and Marion counties. and we've had a lot of trees blown down tonight. The rain you see over here, that's just light rain. There's no issues east of I-65 for the moment. And again, we're hoping that maybe this rain will help to kind of stabilize the atmosphere and the storms will weaken a bit as they move on to the east, but we sure can't guarantee that. So again, we have a tornado watch now for the entire state east of this line to the Georgia state line until 4 o'clock. Storm should be in the Birmingham Metro, we'll say around midnight to 12:30 in about 1 hour or so from now. They should be in Cullman by midnight. And again, the main concern here is strong straight line winds. I just don't think we have any additional tornado warnings. But the line is moving very quickly, and the good news, once the line passes, you are done. That's it. The severe weather risk is over. Got a report of a tree down in Winston County, around County Road 15 and County Road 3216. Again, we've had a lot of these tree down reports, but the good news, we've had no major structural damage, and we've had no report. Of course, earlier this same system produced some really wicked tornadoes across parts of South Mississippi, Louisiana, and southeastern Texas. It's been a very rough day for our friends off to the west, and again, as the storms moved into Alabama, as kind of expected, everything has gone linear, and the main threat has shifted from tornadoes to damaging straight line winds. And that's the situation here. And again, you got these severe thunderstorm warnings now in effect all the way from Limestone and Morgan counties up in the Tennessee Valley, Cullman, Winston, Walker, Jefferson, eastern Tuscaloosa, Bibb, Perry, and Dallas. And those are the counties under severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, these will be coming on through. It seems like once that initial gust front comes through, things kind of settle down and it just rains a lot. And again, behind the line, the risk of severe weather is ended. Just a good steady soaking rain falling through parts of West Alabama to the west of the line, but that is not severe. And again, once this thing gets out of here, this should be our last severe weather episode for a while. And it's interesting, you know, this year has been remarkably quiet. I would say this year, where I am here in the central part of Alabama, up until this event, the Weather Service in Birmingham only issuing 6 tornado warnings all year. It's been one of the quietest years here in 40 years, so we're thankful for that. Now, if you're in the Tennessee Valley, you've had some rough nights, but again, for the central part of the state, it's been really quiet. But after this event tonight, this looks like the last severe weather problem for a while. The attention then turns to some what could be really cold air coming in here in about 1 to 2 weeks. How cold, any winter mischief, we don't know that yet, but I will tell you the pattern looks cold, and of course cold means nothing severe. So again, new warnings I see for parts of up in the Tennessee Valley. Again, this whole bunch of warnings have just come in here. Parts of Morgan, Cullman, and Dallas, Perry, Bibb. And I noticed the Weather Service in Huntsville has extended the tornado watch over into Marshall, Jackson, and DeKalb County. So again, basically the whole state east of this line is under a tornado watch right now, even up here in northeast Alabama, where the air is somewhat cool and stable. But again, you see these little surges like this from time to time that are coming out ahead of this line, like this one coming into Limestone. That could knock down some trees up and through there. So even if you're in Scottsboro, Fort Payne, Gunnersville, this line will be pretty gusty when it comes on through. Severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for parts of Limestone, Morgan, Cullman, eastern Winston, eastern Walker, Jefferson, eastern Tuscaloosa counties. And again, this is the radar coming out of High Top, the Weather Service facility up here in Jackson County, Alabama, showing the storms in the Tennessee Valley. But let's go back to the Birmingham radar. And again, for the city of Birmingham, the Birmingham Metro, this line should be in here a little after midnight. We'll say sometime between midnight and maybe 12:15. The storms have cleared Tuscaloosa. So for Tuscaloosa, the city of Tuscaloosa, you are done with a chance of severe weather. It's the same thing for Fayette, Carbon Hill, Haleyville. Risk of severe weather is ended there. Greensboro, Utah, Demopolis, your risk of severe weather is ended. And again, the issue, it's along and east of this line as it continues moving on pretty rapidly to the east. And this line should be over into Georgia by 4 o'clock in the morning, 3, 4, something like that. And hopefully it's going to weaken with time. But we're watching all the damage reports, and Riley, I've not seen anything lately, which is good.
Now, in the back right now, they are working on getting some posts together we got through Chime In that has some damage. According to Tyson and Nick, we do have some damage reports coming in right now. And remember, you can scan the QR code to send us some pictures after the storm moves through. Don't go out right now. But after the storm is over, go out. If you have damage, send it our way. And they're going to let us know when they get that built so we can see what folks out there are seeing. But all right, they say they have it now. So if we could pull that up. So that's a Ring doorbell. Heavy rain. Oh, yeah. Do we know where that's at? It looks like maybe Tuscaloosa. Yeah, coming through Tuscaloosa. Raining sideways is what it looks like, and that's what it looks like on radar as well. Yeah, winds, heavy winds. And remember, scan the QR code, send your pictures of damage after the storm moves through. Get it on there, and we can check to see what you guys are seeing out there.
In fact, yeah, I've got piles of images coming. Let's take WEX 05 real quick. This is some of the damage from Winfield up in Marion County, southern Marion County, when that line came through. And again, if you recall, at one point we had a pretty good chunk of Marion County under a tornado warning. So let's go back to the radar. And again, we're going to hold it here for just a while. Again, typically we don't do wall-to-wall coverage like this without tornado warnings, and we have no tornado warnings for the northern half of the state where we are. We have severe thunderstorm warnings, but based on the strength of the line, we thought we'd just stay on with you tonight and kind of carry this, we'll kind of walk through this thing together. The line of storm stretching from near the Tennessee River Bridge along Interstate 65, then arcing down through near Decatur, then arcing down to Hartselle, right on top of Smith Lake, Jasper approaching Doris Summerton, Lakeview in Tuscaloosa County approaching Centerville and Brent, then down to Marion and Perry County, then down toward Orrville in Dallas County. And these storms are pretty quickly approaching the Birmingham Metro. They should be in the Birmingham Metro, I'd say, around midnight tonight, based on the latest advancement of this line. Is coming in pretty quickly. And again, Anniston, Gadsden should be over here in your neck of the woods, probably toward 1, 2 a.m., something like that. And we're going to get this stuff into Georgia pretty quickly. I think by 3 a.m., most of this stuff should be out of the state. They might linger down in the southeastern tip of the state by 6 o'clock or so. But again, we've had a lot of trees blown down, some power outages. Again, about 7,500 power outages specifically in these three counties alone, Fayette, Marion, and Lamar. And again, we'll see how these things behave coming on through the Birmingham Metro. And that's one thing about it, when they come through a big population center, if there's anything going on, we'll find out about it pretty quickly. And that folks are very good to send in their reports and images here.
Still getting no other reports of damage. Well, some people in the Facebook chat, a transformer blew in Centerville. So we got power outages reported in Centerville. And folks asking, is it done in Jasper? Almost. Jasper's still in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon, but once that moves through, the warning is canceled. It's going to be great sleeping weather. It's going to be some nice rain on the backside of this front edge, which is the severe part of the edge. But once that moves through, very good sleeping weather as that rain falls. Pickens County, you're good. Rain going to be falling. Could be heavy at times, but overall the severe threat is over. We have the Jasper Algo cameras. Let's see what we have there right now. Looks like very heavy rain, windy. They still have power. That's good news.
Let's take WEX 05 real quick if we can. This is going to be some video coming out of Winfield up in Marion County. If you look really carefully, you'll see a really large tree that's come down there. This is in southern Marion County, and this was earlier this evening when the line came through. So again, that's another example of the trees that have been blown down across the state tonight. And going into this, that was the main concern. A lot of tree damage and power outages, and that's certainly been the case. So let's go back to the radar. And again, we're watching the line of storms producing enough wind to cause tree and power line damage. The storm should be in the Birmingham Metro soon after midnight. Cullman, probably a little before midnight. In fact, again, they're coming in really right now around West Point. They'll be in Cullman pretty soon. Vinemont, Cullman, Hanceville. Storms right now are crossing into western Jefferson County out of Walker and Tuscaloosa counties. Heavy rain falling in places like Parrish and Walker County. Heavy rain in eastern Tuscaloosa County around Lakeview. Down toward Vance, and then down into Bibb County around Centerville and Brent. The storms extend down to Marion in Perry County. And to the east, you see a lot of rain over here. Nothing severe going on in East Alabama, but there is a tornado watch pretty much statewide along and east of this line of storms. In fact, let's pop that watch back on, and this will show that the tornado watch has been cleared for Marion, Lamar, Fayette, Pickens, Utah, or Greene, Sumter, and Choctaw counties. No tornado watch, and these watches, the watch will be cleared for the next row of counties pretty soon, but the watch does extend over to the Georgia state line until 4 a.m. Now, it should be canceled before that as the storms pass your location, but again, the warnings are highlighted here. Cullman, Morgan, Limestone, parts of Winston, Walker, Jefferson, eastern Tuscaloosa, Bibb, Perry, and Dallas counties, and counties on down to the south. In fact, let's keep on going to the south. I want to show areas to the south because in the digital world, there are no TV markets. And we have a new tornado warning in effect now. This one is going to be along Interstate 65 for a storm that's coming out of Conecuh County, coming up into Butler County, which is of great interest to me. And that is my part of the world where I am from. And that is going to be a pretty good-looking storm. That is a storm that's north of Evergreen, moving up in the general direction of Georgiana and Starlington. So again, just north of Evergreen, coming up toward Georgiana, Chapman, Starlington, and Butler County. Just be aware that that's a pretty good-looking radar signature there in South Alabama, and another tornado warning in effect for the Mobile Delta. This is for a possible tornado north of Sims in northern Mobile County, coming out toward the Mobile Delta. So in South Alabama, 2 tornado warnings, one for parts of Conecuh and Butler counties, and one for parts of Mobile County north of the city of Mobile, north of Pritchard, north of Sims. That'll be coming out toward US 43 and Interstate 65, not too far from Creola. And severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Wilcox, parts of Clark, Monroe, down into Mobile, Baldwin, and Washington counties. And again, the warnings extend all the way from basically Mobile up to the Tennessee state line. It's that kind of a night. So we'll go back to the radar here. And again, just kind of watching several things here, watching that storm down in South Alabama. Again, if you're in Chapman or Georgiana in Butler County, I would want to be sheltered. Again, Riley's kind of showing that on our graphic system here. And again, Greenville here, this is the county seat of Butler County. That's Interstate 65 right here. US 31 parallels Interstate 65. And that potential circulation is going to be coming up again toward Georgiana, Chapman, Starlington, right in through here. And again, if that continues moving in that direction, that means Greenville could be in the path of that thing. So again, if you're watching us in Butler County, just be aware of that. And if you're down in southwest Butler County, Georgiana West, you need to be in a safe place. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, no windows. Helmets if you're in a site-built home. If you're in a mobile home, you got to go to a shelter or some place that offers a shelter at this late hour. But that clearly is probably the nastiest signature on radar right now. And again, this is in Conecuh County, north of Evergreen, a little to the west of Interstate 65. Interstate 65 is right here. And again, that's coming right up into Butler County. So just be aware of that, and we'll keep an eye on that. Let's go back up north, and we'll watch the line of storms. For the northern half of the state, there are no tornado warnings in effect. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect all the way from the Tennessee state line all the way down to Dallas County and Selma. And again, we've got the line approaching the city of Cullman. The line is about to cross into Jefferson. It's out here approaching Oak Grove and Rock Creek, western Jefferson County. The line is coming into West Blockton, Centerville, Brent, down Highway 5 down toward Heiberger, and Orville in Dallas County. The line should be in Selma fairly soon. And again, any late damage news, Riley, from your end over there?
Yes, still nothing. I'm going through a Facebook. Heavy wind and rain in Woodstock. So far I'm not seeing any other damage reports just yet. which is still good news. Heavy winds raining sideways, southwest Coleman County. Heavy rain and wind in Harrisburg. Lakeview is loud. So really it just seems like a normal thunderstorm line moving through. Highway 5 in Woodstock. Strongest line so far just past Smith Lake, just east of the dam. Didn't lose much power, and it doesn't take much at all for our power to flicker or go out. People asking if they can go to sleep after the line goes through. Pretty much give them a yes. And with this rain on the backside of it, if you live in a house with a tin roof, that's some of the best sleeping weather you can get. Some nice rain on a tin roof. And
I haven't slept since 1973, so
you're missing out.
Don't know what it's about. One day I will, but not right now. Yeah, I'm going through all of the various social media channels, and again, I'm just most of the damage reports consist of downed trees and power outages.
And now we have Shelby, Chilton County, as expected. We'll start to see more weak circulations as this gets close to the Birmingham radar. 1 week circulation near West Blockton. Yeah, because in this scenario, you don't see a lot of upper level rotation. Remember, that's what radars do. They shoot up in a thunderstorm, so it gets closer. It can see lower down into the storm where you might have more rotation near the surface, but still doesn't always mean there's a tornado, but a brief spin up can certainly cannot certainly be ruled out at all. But slowly but surely this line is moving through, and we do have new severe thunderstorm warnings for Shelby County and Chilton County. Those will run until midnight, 12:30. Those will run until 12:30 a.m. for Chilton County and Shelby counties.
And let's take WEXO 5 real quick. This is pretty interesting. This is a power line that is arcing and came down. This is in Walker County, and again, that's another thing we've seen a good bit of across the state. Along with the downed trees, you wind up with power outages, and again, that's an arcing power line that came down in Walker County earlier tonight. There's a look at some damage up in Winfield and Marion County. And again, that's more damage. I want to say this was in Fayette County. So just a lot of this stuff going on tonight. You might want to consider not driving unless you have to, because you don't want to come up on a downed tree in the middle of the night. It's pitch black. You can't see anything, and that would be a bad situation if that's the case. All right, it's 11:20 Saturday night. Let's go back to the radar. Line of storms getting awfully close to Birmingham. It'll be in here by midnight. Sure, it looks like that now. This thing is coming into again, Birmingham, Sipsey, Empire, and Walker County. Storms coming into Cullman. Storms along Interstate 65 up toward Hartselle, Faultville, up toward the Tennessee River at Decatur. And again, this long line is moving on to the east. With that line, we could see damaging straight line winds. And like I've said before, this is not going to be a night where I'm going to be able to call out, Fred's Barn or the Walmart or the barbecue joint, because we're not looking at these pinpoint tornadoes. We're looking at just this big old line all the way from the Tennessee state line to Mobile. And the only tornado warning we have is the one down in South Alabama. In fact, we can, Riley, let's go back and take a look at that. The one, because a lot of folks are watching us down in the southern half of the state. We have a tornado warning in effect now for parts of Conecuh and Butler counties for this particular thunderstorm right here. And again, this storm is showing evidence of a tornado. That's a supercell. This is Conecuh County, this is Monroe County, this is Butler County. That's Interstate 65 right here. US 31 is right here, the town of Georgiana, Ebenezer, Chapman. And if this thing continues on that path, it could very well wind up near Greenville. So again, if you're watching us in Greenville, just be aware of that, and we'll see if the Weather Service in Mobile opts to expand this warning farther northward. Butler County is covered by the National Weather Service down in Mobile, and if this obviously continues along that track, it could wind up close to Montgomery. This thing is basically going to come northeast right up Interstate 65. Most of the tornadoes we have seen in our state have been very brief, short-lived, and we hope that's the case with this thing. But again, the air is much more unstable down across the southern third of the state. And again, with the dynamics involved in the system, you have to watch these things pretty carefully. So again, Georgiana back over to Starlington here. Just be aware that you've got a tornado warning polygon. And if this continues moving to the northeast, that thing could come up here in the vicinity of Greenville. And again, this is US 31 here, Interstate 65 right here. And I am from Greenville, Alabama. Moved away when I started 5th grade, but I am from Butler County. These are my people. My folks worked at W.T. Smith Lumber Company down here in Chapman, so this is kind of my territory, so we'll keep a close eye on that. So again, wanted just to show that for a second. So let's go back up to the northern end of the state and look at our line. And we're almost to the point now where we might be able to take a look at some of the cameras we have, especially the cameras in the Birmingham Metro looking back off to the west, and see if we see any lightning here. We got 66 lightning strikes, and quite frankly, that's not that many for a line this long. They're certainly there. We've got lightning involved here, but not quite as much as what we might expect with a line like this. And of course, heavy rain, not enough to cause any flooding. That's the one thing about it. The ground is not saturated. Keep in mind, a pretty good chunk of the state is still in drought conditions, about 37% of the state. So one of the positives of this is that many locations will see 1 to 2 inches of rain tonight. That's good, very good beneficial rain that we'll see. But as Riley mentioned, we have new severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Shelby and Chilton counties. So all of Shelby, all of Chilton, all of Jefferson, all of Cullman, all of Morgan, or most of Morgan, under a severe thunderstorm warning. And the tornado watch was expanded farther east. The tornado watch includes basically all of East Alabama until 4 a.m. I think the storms will probably be out of the state by 4 a.m., weakening so far. So again, storms coming into Cullman. Storms are moving away from Smith Lake now. They're exiting Smith Lake. Storms down here toward Dora, Summerton, Sipsey, Empire, about to cross over into Sayre, Bagley, Corner, up in North Jefferson County. That line of storms coming up toward Concord, Hueytown, Rock Creek, Sylvan Springs, McDonald Chapel, Pratt City, Edgewater, western and northwestern suburbs of Birmingham, down into parts of eastern Perry County, approaching Maplesville and Chilton County, Stanton, Ryderville, down Highway 22. Storms coming in now on downtown Selma as well. The lightning count down to 56, and that's one thing. We're kind of watching the numbers here. Traditionally, when the storms begin to weaken, the lightning counts will slowly come down, and we have noticed that. So just maybe there is a gradual weakening trend here as these storms continue moving on to the east.
On top right, we're looking at our camera on top of the Children's of Alabama Skycam, and we're looking as far west as this camera can go, and I'll pull that up real quick so we can take a look. I'm looking as far west as we can look, and right now there's really just not that much happening. There's some lightning strikes being recorded, but James just talked about it earlier. I think we were down to somewhere in the 40s for lightning strikes. When this line was entering the state, we were at about 120 or 130, so the lightning count significantly went down. We're at 51 total strikes right now, so it's still lightning. Some of these storms still could pack a punch, but it seems like right now it's trending downward. And if you're from Centerville, Jasper, all the way to the west to the Mississippi state line, you're fine. There's no more severe threats. Sleeping weather is going to be great with that rain falling. If you're along east of I-65, you still may have to deal with some loud storms, probably a continuance of severe thunderstorm warnings, probably may get one for Blount County right here within the next few minutes, just as that line progresses off to the east. But really from a line Jasper down to Centerville, Tuscaloosa, Fayette, Aliceville, you're fine. It's just going to be really light rain for the rest of the night. The severe threat is completely over, and I'm still not getting really seeing any reports of damage just yet. Just a lot of lightning reports coming out of Hueytown. And really that's about it. Power out in Dora. Power went out in Decatur.
Let's take Wexo 5 real quick. I like this video. When we say put a helmet on, they take it seriously. Put a helmet on. I like it. I like it a lot. That's what I'm talking about. Come on now. People are listening. That's good. That's outstanding. All right, back to the radar. And in all seriousness, I will tell you, I spend a lot of time with ER docs, a lot, and they will tell you that most people that are hurt badly or die in a tornado, it's blunt force trauma above the shoulders. And by putting on an inexpensive bike helmet, a batting helmet, football helmet, motorcycle helmet that enhances your chances of surviving in a huge way or of not being seriously injured in a huge way. And, you know, again, it might not be a good look. For an old guy like me, put on a bicycle helmet on me, it's like lipstick on a hog. It's not a good look, but it could save your life. So the helmet thing is really important. And if there's a tornado warning polygon, you really need that in your safe place. So that's great to see folks taking that thing seriously here. Yeah, we're watching the lightning count. It's down to 50. It's slowly coming down, which means the storms have weakened a bit over the last 10 minutes. Now it's jumped back up to 60, so it's kind of coming and going. But still, you have to respect these storms. They've had a history of producing tree and power line damage, and that's certainly a possibility as they come into the Birmingham Metro. Storms coming in Bibb County, West Blockton, Centerville, Brent, down towards Stanton, Plantersville, Selma. And we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for all of Cullman, all of Jefferson, Shelby, and Chilton counties. And again, the rain over here in East Alabama, just good old-fashioned rain, nothing severe. And the question is, can the storms maintain their intensity? The best possible case, they weaken, and we can just say they're below severe limits. We all go back to regular programming. We'll, of course, watch them. We always watch them, and things will kind of calm down. That's a distinct possibility. But on the other hand, these things could hang in there like a hair in a biscuit, and sometimes they can. And then, like I say, even in a situation like this with marginal thermodynamics, the dynamic forcing can overcome that and keep these things going. And just the forward momentum alone will likely produce some fairly strong gusty winds. So we'll be watching it carefully. Weather Service indicating a weak circulation out around Hueytown, Pleasant Grove. But again, the key is weak. And they're doing the right thing in Birmingham. I cannot tell you enough what an incredible job they have done out here. You see that little hook right there? That's what he's talking about.
That's those are my stomping grounds right there.
Yeah, I'm talking about Greenville. That's where I'm from. You're from Hueytown. And again, that's really weak. That's a very ill-defined circulation. If you issue a tornado warning for every signature like that, your false alarm ratio is going to be 90%. And you just can't do that. In the Weather Service in Birmingham, they have done a remarkable job of lowering the false alarm ratio. It's down in the 20s and 30s. I never thought it would be that good in my lifetime. At one point, it was 83. And now it's that far down. They've come so far in cutting back these false alarms, and it's crying wolf if you issue a false alarm. And we're always going to have false alarms in the weather business, but you can't have a false alarm ratio of 80 or 90. That's just not working. And they've done a great job of that. So again, you just can't warn for something like that. Let's put the reflectivity back on real quick. And again, we'll see as we're getting close to the radar, we're getting a good low-level sample here. In fact, let's go back to that spot we're looking at here, over here in Hueytown. And again, you can see a little pendant right there. And we got to watch that and understand within this line, there could be a little brief isolated tornado when it gets down for a minute or two, and it creates havoc. And issuing for these things, it is hard. It is so hard. But again, you just can't warn for every time you see a little weak circulation. You just can't do that because your false alarm ratio will be too high. But again, those storms will be coming right on into downtown Birmingham pretty soon. Again, Adamsville here. You got Graysville here. There's West Jefferson, Sayre, Bagley, Corner. And again, that'll be basically right into downtown Birmingham pretty soon. Hueytown, Pleasant Grove, Rock Creek, Oak Grove, Sylvan Springs, Pratt City, McDonald Chapel, Edgewater, Pratt City. That's next in line, and again, that'll be coming right into downtown Birmingham. So we're keeping an eye on that. I want to go back to Butler County real quick. And
James, I just sent you a message. I got that from it was a Ring doorbell in Rock Creek. Looks like they had some, that line that's actually pushing through Sylvan Springs, Maytown, Mulga, Concord area. Just came through Rock Creek, and I just sent you that.
all right, well, let's take WEX 05. We'll roll it, and you can explain what we're looking at here. Take WEX 05 there, Theo. There we go.
That Ring doorbell camera, remember this is in Rock Creek, western Jefferson County, around the Oak Grove area. Very heavy rain, wind streaming through this storm. and very, very, very heavy rain. And that's been the deal with a lot of these storms within this line tonight. Extremely heavy rain, winds probably 40, 45 miles per hour. I haven't seen any data in terms of any significant gusts, at least in the state. Remember, we had 63 at one point in Meridian. That was right before the line got here. But I bet this is what a lot of people have been dealing with tonight, what a lot of people have been seeing tonight. Very heavy rain, very high winds, 40 to 50 miles per hour potentially, and what we may say raining cats and dogs, raining sideways. And, you know, I bet this is the view for a lot of people right now.
All right, so let's look at our Butler County situation. Again, this is going to be down in South Alabama, and the good news, it looks like the circulation has weakened a lot down here. That really looks much, much weaker, and if that trend continues, this will probably not be extended. So again, the tornadic circulation that is west of Georgiana out here towards Starlington and Midway looks a lot weaker at this point, but still, if you're in Greenville, I'd still keep a close eye on that, as that will be coming up from the southwest. Again, that's kind of a broad look. That's SRV, storm relative velocity. So we'll see if the Weather Service in Mobile expands that out. Okay. Big view if we can, and again, we'll put the reflectivity on here. Storms coming into the Birmingham Metro. It is now 11:34, and we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Cullman County, all of Jefferson, all of Shelby. And again, we're kind of watching this spot right in through here, a little hook type feature that's around Pleasant Grove. But again, there's just not a lot of evidence to support a tornado here. No, that's not a tornado signature. That's very weak circulation, and you just can't warn for that. But again, the storms are all capable, the whole line, north to south, Tennessee state line to Mobile, capable of producing damaging straight line winds. And that certainly could knock down a lot of trees coming through the Birmingham Metro. And of course, we'll find out real quick if there's much to this thing as it comes through the city, because we will find out in a hurry if we have down trees and power lines. Seeing some damage down in Uniontown in southern Perry County. Most of the wind reports seem to be about 40, 45 miles an hour. That's what it seems like at this point, and thankfully that is under severe criteria. John Talbot, our sky watcher out in Hueytown, who is great. John is reporting no weather-related reports for Jefferson County, and that's pretty good. If you have no weather-related reports in Jefferson County, that is good. He reported that 1 minute ago at 11:35.
Our news director just texted me and said, check velocity near Montevallo. Looks like we have a pretty strong winds potentially pushing through Montevallo, Ryan, Moore's Crossroads. Eventually going to be coming up near the radar site just south of Alabaster. No real rotation, but we can actually pixel query this to get a radar estimate.
Yeah, that's the feature that came through Bibb and Hale. That's the same feature. That was a little Boeing segment there. There's no tornado there, but again, we've got some higher wind velocities in through there. And again, this is at radar beam height. That's not down at the surface where you see these 57, 50 mile per hour wind velocities. That's we're close to the radar. The radar is actually right here. That's still probably 500 to 1,000 feet off the ground. But I'd say the winds in this segment right here, again, this is the Boeing segment that came through Hale and Bibb, probably producing winds of maybe 40, 45, maybe up to 50 miles an hour. But again, we stressed for this whole line, up and down, from the Tennessee state line to Mobile, could produce some strong straight line winds, enough to knock down trees and power lines. But the good news, I see more counties being canceled out of the watch. Let's pop the watch back on this thing, and let's see what counties have been cleared from the tornado watch. Looks like the same ones. We've got Marion, Lamar, Fayette, Pickens, Greene, Sumter, Choctaw. The Weather Service will be able to clear these pretty soon. Winston, Walker, Tuscaloosa, Hale. For all practical purposes, you're done with severe weather there. These counties will go off the board soon. You see the problem areas, the Birmingham Metro and points east. The watch extends into East Alabama until 4 a.m. So back to the radar. Storms coming right into Birmingham. And maybe, Riley, we can take a look at that Children's of Alabama camera, Grandview, one of the Birmingham cameras, and see what you got there.
Yeah, let's pull up. This is coming from Children's of Alabama, and it seems like the lightning display is really starting to go down too. I'm going to go back to the radar, get a check of what we're seeing on lightning, and then pop back. 48 strikes, so still pretty low from what we would expect with a system like this. Pretty quiet coming from Children's of Alabama. We can go to Grandview and look down 280 and see if we have anything going on here. I believe this angle is looking back towards Lake Purdy, not towards the interstate. And the camera's moving a little bit with the wind blowing. We're going to turn it around and look back towards the interstate and back up towards the summit and see if we have anything else. It would be nice to get a little lightning so we can see. But so far, yeah, there's really not that much lightning, which indicates not that much instability is in play here for us.
And that's a good thing. A very good thing. The air is fairly stable. And again, the lightning count is slowly decreasing with time here. Good to see Evan here in the building with us. Evan Chick-Vera, fine American. He just walked in. Hey, take Wexo 5 real quick. More Alabamians have their helmets on. I like it. I like it a lot. That's what I'm talking about. You put on that helmet, you're going to be safe during a tornado. All right, so let's go back to the radar here. It's 11:39, and this is James Spann with the radar behind me. We can magically take that. Thank you very much. And we'll pop the radar back on here. And there we go. Again, you can see that line of storms now stretching from Morgan County right down through Cullman. And we note the Weather Service up in the Tennessee Valley in Huntsville, they're issuing more warnings up here. This would include Madison and parts of Marshall and Jackson counties. And again, everybody's just blanketing areas in advance of the line with these severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, you're going to see these little weak, brief circulations in here from time to time. But like we've talked about, you just can't pull the trigger and issue a tornado warning every time. But Evan, I want to look at Butler County real quick. It looks like they've extended that warning down there. They have. All right. So this is the new tornado warning in effect for Butler County. And you can see this is going to be for areas north and west of Greenville. That's Interstate 65 right here, US 31 right here, possible tornadic circulation right here. And again, Alabama Highway 10 runs right in through here, and that'll be crossing Highway 10 west of Greenville, coming up toward really Fort Deposit in Lowndes County. So just understand, if you're in Butler County in South Alabama, there's a tornado warning in effect now for areas west of Greenville. The city of Greenville not in the polygon here. This is Greenville. That original circulation dissipated. A new one formed off to the west, and again, that'll be staying west of the city of Greenville. So if you're in the western part of Butler County, out toward Forest Home, out Highway 10 toward the Wilcox County line, just be sheltered, as this is a potential tornado that'll be coming through, and this is where the air is more unstable down across the southern counties of the state. We got a tornado warning for Butler. That's the one we're looking at here. We've got one report of a tree down on Camp Oliver Road. That's out in western Jefferson. So let's kind of go back up to Jefferson, Evan, and we'll take a look at the storm that is coming into the Birmingham Metro. And again, you can see just kind of this wavy line of storms here. And we'll go to the Birmingham BMX radar. That's Maxwell Air Force Base. That's Birmingham. And Evan, welcome. How you doing?
Doing great. It's nice that we have not had the uptick in these storms over the last several. I've been watching this since back in Mississippi, and one of the things we look for, like you were talking about, is the lightning strikes, but also that cluttery convection that developed to the south of us here, really disturbing that inflow, that instability that's needed to get things going vertically. You need that striking match to really get things going, and that limited obviously the intensity of this line, but we are still seeing some gusty winds, obviously a lot of very heavy rain, which, by the way, that's very beneficial. I saw lots of folks, though, bringing in their Christmas decor today, which is certainly a good thing with these straight line winds. Just from watching this radar and the trend, the most really intense part of this line that I can see is here from, say, Cherokee Beach down to Morris Crossroad. This is coming right through the heart of Shelby County, so this is coming up on 31, on 65, and just based off of the radar orientation of this is just strong, gusty, straight line winds. It'll be very quick. You'll have gusty winds on the lead edge, but I mean, look at within this. As intense as this looks, we got one lightning strike here in the most intense part of this line. So this will push very quickly across I-65 to the eastern side of Shelby County and eventually into places like Coosa County, Talladega County as well. So looking at the line in its entirety, again, still something to take seriously, but certainly up here on the northern edge of the line, I mean, you get north of Center Point, and that part of the line looks very dilapidated, very weakened. In fact, we'll zoom in here, up where Cullman is. I mean, there's just no more structure to this up near Hanceville, Holly Pond, Baileyton. All of this here is just good, steady, soaking rains, but even the lead edge of that line doesn't look good anymore. So, again, a gradual weakening trend is expected. It's still loud. This will probably wake you up. My weather radio went off a couple times here this afternoon. That's another thing to keep in mind. East Alabamians, this line is coming into your neck of the woods, and so you're certainly going to want to have ways to be notified tonight. And having a weather radio, as annoying and obnoxious as that is, I don't know many people who can sleep through that. So have that set up and good to go. And, we'll continue to watch this line here, even up where we were seeing that weak circulation over in Hueytown. That line's kind of, falling apart as well. Again, still very heavy rainfall, some lightning strikes. We'll zoom on in here and take a look at the velocity products within this line. And again, what we're looking for is that the green and the red, when they touch that rotation. We just haven't seen a lot of it along this particular storm line, QLCS as we call it, since it's moved in from Mississippi. It's been mainly a gusty wind. It's been, a very, very heavy rainfall, but everything along this line looking fairly benign. That broad rotation from Hueytown has since minimized, but this is coming into a very, very populated area, the metro. So if you're just now joining us and you're like, hey, it's getting loud at my house, that's because we got, this impressive line coming through here, and there is a severe thunderstorm warning for essentially all parts of this line. Whether you are here in Jefferson County or here in Shelby County. These are the two most intense parts of this line, and they got blanket warnings on these because just really at any point within this line, you can have these quick downbursts, these quick wind gusts that you get up to 55, 60 miles an hour. Again, I'm very happy to hear that there's not been more wind reports to this point. We look at all these things. We got our Skywatcher network. We have our viewers send stuff in, all these different EMA. I don't know if we can take the Children's of Alabama camera really quick and just pop it up there, full screen, but you could. Okay. Yeah, we'll get that on there. But the point being is you're starting to see those winds really pick up here, and some of the strongest wind gusts and the most intense part of this line is getting ready to come through here into the downtown Birmingham area, so you will be feeling that. In fact, I'll switch on over. We can take this weather graphics full, sorry guys, and this will have the logo on it, but there we go. Really being buffeted around. Again, it's on the top of a building, so your winds are going to be more intense up there, but this part of the line coming through the metro is going to be probably the most intense. We're getting a report, at the office down in Calera, the National Weather Service office, about 40-mile-an-hour winds there, which sub-severe, but that'll still get your attention. That'll, take some things through the yard. If you left your empty garbage bins there, they're probably at your neighbor's house at this point, but that's kind of what we're looking at within this line. So that was the Birmingham Skycam Children. So if you're in downtown Birmingham, you're getting it. Vestavia Hills, you're probably a couple minutes away. This will be coming right up to Hoover, right there downtown at 31. The library within the next couple of minutes here. Indian Hills, very close to our station. This Boeing segment stretches from there all the way down to now just east of Alabaster. So Alabaster, you've just within the last couple of minutes seen the most intense part of this line. And so next up would be Chelsea, Harpersville, Columbiana, Wilsonville, this part of central and eastern rural Shelby County. So we'll be watching this as it moves through. But again, you look at some of these velocities and they're just not what they were even a little while ago. Which is certainly good to see. Again, we'll take the soaking rains. We need it. Despite the fact that it's not still 95 degrees in summertime when our drought started, we still do need the rain, and that's been very beneficial to this point. So moving a little bit further to the south here, you get down south of Calera. Don't want to forget about our folks down in Chilton County as well. If you're in Jemison, Thorsby, again, this is really heavy rain, but the lightning.
By the way, speaking of that, real quick, Evan, there's a tree down across US 82 in Maplesville.
Okay.
In Chilton, so just be aware of that. Also reports of trees down on Chilton County Road 16 in Maplesville. So there's been some tree damage down there. And again, more reports of trees down in various pockets of the state. So just wanted to pass that along. I would not want to be driving, Evan, if I were you, because you come across these trees down in the road around a curve, you don't know they're there, and that's pretty dangerous. So anyway, this is down in Chilton County. And again, the store, Clanton is right here. This is Interstate 65. Interstate 65 is here. US 31 is right here. And again, the storms have come through Maplesville. They're approaching Clanton now. And let's kind of work our way to the north. We'll take a look at Shelby County. And again, you can see the line of storms coming through where we are, basically. We're in River Chase in Hoover, coming through Pelham, Alabaster, down to Calera. And again, you can expect winds of gusting. Look at that, no lightning strikes. That's interesting, which means the air is relatively stable, which is a good thing. Let's keep going up north. We'll take a look at the storms in Jefferson. And they are coming right into downtown Birmingham as we speak. And again, no evidence of any tornado. We have no tornado warnings in effect. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings. And let's keep going up north while we're kind of working our way north. That's up Interstate 65. We'll keep going up into Cullman County. And again, up in here, the air a little more stable. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for the eastern part of Cullman County. The worst of the weather is now east of Cullman. But again, the interesting thing here, no lightning strikes, none, zero, because the air is fairly stable. So let's do a reset, Evan. We'll take a look at the big picture. This is going to be the larger view. And the line runs now from near Madison down through Eva, about Holly Pond, downtown Birmingham, line coming through Calera, Alabaster, Pelham, Hoover, line approaching Clanton down in Chilton County. And again, you can see 26 lightning strikes within this sector. About 15 minutes ago, the lightning count was closer to 60. So we've cut that in half, which means the storms are weakening. And we are hoping that we can get away without any additional problems there.
That same area we were just talking about down in Shelby County, that little Boeing segment, it looks like we have a tree down in Montevallo. So that continues to be the part of the line that looks a little bit more significant. That was the area that we're starting to come out and really at the lead edge. You'll get these stronger gusts, sometimes in pockets, sometimes it'll be more widespread, but that makes a lot of sense that we're seeing some trees down there. That's from the Shelby County system there, and we'll probably see more of that again with these straight line winds. You get they can be just as dangerous with the right amount of speed and intensity as tornadoes can be. So we've seen a lot of that here. Thank goodness, not a ton of damage, but that is in central Shelby County. So if you're in Calera, I mean, this is right on top of you there. That's where our radar site is. Columbiana up to Chelsea. You're next up here. This is going to pass, I think, just to the south of Cahaba Heights. And then you look up towards the metro. In fact, Birmingham, yeah, it looks like that lead edge has just passed the downtown area. So next up would be neighborhoods like Trussville, Pinson, Bradford, Center Point, Lakewood, Irondale, Grants Mill, and then areas on the far eastern side of that 459 stretch. And then up here, honestly, from what I can tell, radar-wise, I mean, the stuff up in Cullman just doesn't look to have any level of severity at all. These radar returns are very weak. Sure, there's some lightning strikes here, but if you're up in the Cullman area, you're good. Good Hope, you're probably clear. Hansfield's still coming down there, but you're probably about to be in the clear. These move into Blount County, eventually parts of Etowah, St. Clair, and probably clip into DeKalb County here as well as they continue to move east. But the further north you go, the more, I think, energy-starved these are because it's just not as unstable in the northeastern part of Alabama. So Fultondale, again, you're seeing a heavy downpour here, up 79, Highway 75 here in eastern Jefferson County. You're about to get some of the heavier rainfall, but James, you nailed it. You don't want to be driving in this. Even driving in a light rain on the way here, it was like, no thanks. So you can imagine these downpours, not fun at all.
Let's take that Algo camera back in the back. This is going to be I-65, downtown Birmingham. You can see the city lights, and again, just a good steady rain. I had a report from up in Cullman County. He had winds gusting to 20, 25. It just seems like the intensity of this whole thing, it's going downhill, which is great news. Still, understand within a few segments of the line we might see some wind damage, but the intensity much, much lower than what we saw 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago. We have no tornado warnings for our end of the state. We got a couple of tornado warnings down in South Alabama, one for northwestern Butler County. But again, things are, and we got a tornado warning for southern Mobile County, but up this way, things just seem to be calming down as the air is much more stable at this point. And it will be interesting, Evan, to see if the Weather Service continues to issue warnings for these.
Yeah, they just expired. Well, this makes sense. The Bibb County one, but they're continuing the one for Shelby County. I just zoomed in on this one down in Butler County, but doesn't look like we've seen too big of a change in this one. We'll go back up here to the Metro, and yeah, that's a good point, James. We've seen this downward tick, and you and Riley talked about this earlier when you were looking at it together. You know, having 60-some lightning strikes in each scan. You're okay. That's still a decent volume. Now you're down to 21, and we're starting to see this line work into a much more stable environment. And if you're just looking at this from an eyeball perspective, and you've been watching this, whether on your own radar app or following us, you just look at the intensity of this line to the north, and it's not at all what it was back in Mississippi. It has fallen apart. There's broken areas within it. I'd still say south of Birmingham through Shelby County and Chilton County is probably the most established, best structured part of this line. And the tornado threat's going to shift to the south because that's more untapped. That's where your best energy flow is, and that's why we're seeing that tornado warning down near the Greenville area along I-65. But up here, again, a continued weakening trend. We'll have to wait and see if they do extend this into St. Clair County, into Talladega County, into Coosa County, because this, as this line moves through, again, we mentioned there was a little bit of a couple damage reports back in Bibb County as well as down near Montevallo. So, they're still doing, still giving some wind gusts there, but not as intense. Let's see here. Looks like over in Kimberly, there's some trees down Warrior Kimberly Road. 8771 Warrior Kimberly Road. So these trees down, that's very common. You also keep in mind, it's been raining for a good part of the day. So anything that's, fairly weak, a little bit of wind, we'll take those trees, right on down here. So again, a flurry of severe thunderstorm warnings. If you're to the west of Birmingham, you're good. You're still under a warning, but that part of the line that was severe or progged to be severe is through. If you are in Alabaster, you are also in the clear. Again, you're still in that polygon, but the lead edge in question is clear of you. Chelsea, Columbiana, Harpersville, those three areas that are going to be seeing the edge of this little Boeing segment here, and that is headed in your general direction. We'll go down to Chilton County as well, where, Jemison, Thorsby, Clanton, this part of the line, again, probably looks the most intense despite the lack of lightning strikes here. But, you got some decent wind fields, maybe some gusty winds from Thorsby over to Lomax and Clanton. This will pass just to the north of, looks like downtown Clanton. So Highway 145, Highway 31, 65 there, if you're familiar with that stretch from Clanton northward. Probably one of the stronger parts of that line getting ready to come through just there. And again, severe thunderstorm warning for Chilton County until 12:30 here. So that'll go for another about 35 minutes or so. And all of this is about the same, the potential for gusty winds, and that's what we're looking at along this line, though that trend continues to look like it is coming down to some extent.
Let's pop that tornado watch up. We got some more counties that have been cleared, and cleared counties, it's a good thing. So as the line moves on to the east, we have now seen all these counties cleared. So if you are in these areas, the risk of severe weather is over. Winston, Walker, Tuscaloosa, Bibb, Perry, Marengo, Green, Hale, Tuscaloosa, Fayette, Marion, Lamar, Pickens, Sumter, you're done with it. From I-65 east, we still have a tornado watch in effect, and we still have some warnings here, but as Evan has clearly pointed out, the storms are weakening. I got to show you this one, Evan, WEX 05. Dogs love us. I mean, dogs pay attention to the weather. They know things. So for our canine friends, thank you for watching. And Evan, if we can, let's go back to Butler County real quick down in South Alabama. This is where the air is more unstable, and we've got this active tornado warning here. And you can see we actually have two polygons in effect now. We have one for the northwestern part of Butler County for this circulation that is about 8 miles to the northwest of Greenville. A little to the west of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Course down here, and then a second tornado warning polygon for a possible tornado down around Midway that would be coming up into the western part of Butler County. So again, just be aware that we have two areas of potential circulation here. Maybe we'll take a look at Maxwell. I think that's Birmingham. Maxwell should give us a better look at that. If we
Yeah,
could
this
pop up
is
the,
this is Maxwell.
Oh, that is in excess. Okay.
Yeah.
And really, Butler County belongs to Mobile, but I just wanted to show that for our friends down here. And again, we stress these polygons do not include Greenville at this point, the county seat, which is located right here. But a couple of polygons to the northwest of Greenville and to the west of Greenville. And this one extends back over into parts of Monroe County and clips a small part of Wilcox County right here as well. So that's what's going on down in South Alabama. But up this way, the storms continue to slowly weaken. We have one report of a tree down in the 600 block of 6th Court West in Graysville. And again, Concord Fire reports a large tree down on Camp Oliver Road. But considering the fact that this thing has come through the the Birmingham Metro, the number of tree down reports, it's amazingly quiet. Again, a report from John Talbot, Morris Fire, reporting to Old 31 and Morris Majestic Road on a tree down. Also a tree down on Warrior Kimberly Road. So a couple of reports there. But it's relatively quiet. And again, the good thing I can tell you, the lightning count is now down to 19. Again, not that long ago, we had 60 strikes on the counter. Now we're down to 19, which is a sign the storms continue to weaken. And again, there's just no surface-based instability over here in areas north and east of Birmingham, which is certainly a good thing. And hopefully we can kind of scale this thing down and the warnings kind of fade away, and we can but again, we'll stick with you for a while longer here as we have these severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. Weather Service in Birmingham says no plans to issue any tornado warning for Lowndes County. That's for the activity coming out of Butler. But yeah, most of the reports I see in terms of wind, the winds are in the 20, 30, 40 mile per hour bracket, and that's not its severe criteria. To be severe, you need to be at 58 to make these warnings verify. Kind of a Boeing-shaped echo coming into Clanton right now. I would imagine it's pretty windy in downtown Clanton. And again, you can see they got a little kink in the line here, and from time to time you'll see these kinks in here. But again, that's not a tornadic signature. But the winds could be pretty strong as they come on through the central and eastern part of Chilton County. Again, that'll be crossing the Coosa, Lake Mitchell, coming over into Coosa County. And again, I was pulling up the instability here, and thankfully there's just not a lot of surface-based instability at this late hour. And that rain that we have seen has certainly been helping. The instability north and east of Birmingham, there's just hardly any. And there is some from Birmingham south, but not really from Birmingham north and east. But again, like I've said here before, sometimes the dynamics can overcome the marginal thermodynamics. All right, Evan, what you got?
Well, I've been watching this, James, and it's interesting. You look out ahead of this, and we talk about, in real time, how to analyze this and figure out the trends that are going to be happening. Look at all this rain that is just, even if it's not reaching the ground, you get this very light stratiform rain falling out ahead of this line. This is absolutely stabilizing the atmosphere, and while we do have that dynamic support in place, that change of wind speed and direction with height that's keeping this line going, we are seeing just a complete lack of instability here, and this is probably cutting off even further the energy availability to these areas north. So I'm looking here and I'm like, okay, well, you got all this rain, this radar clutter here, so there's no way to sustain getting any energy further to the north, up in this northeastern part of Alabama, as James was just talking about. So that rain is going to effectively cut off things to the north. I'd be surprised if they issue any warnings for Blount County or even St. Clair County as this moves forward. We continue to see that weakening trend. Looks like the National Weather Service in Birmingham is going to continue the severe thunderstorm warning for Shelby County and Chilton County. I want to zoom back into that one near Clanton, because that's the most interesting looking signature on the radar. You get this little Boeing segment, which again, I talked about before. Whenever you see that Boeing segment, sometimes it can be brief, sometimes it'll last a little bit longer, but you tend to see an uptick in winds there. And that can sometimes be a sign that you've got some strong straight line winds. And of course, you look at this, you're like, okay, everything looks all right, and then you get this suspicious little kink here. And again, that's very broad. You might have some strong gusty winds there coming over, say, Highway 145, and this is headed towards the Coosa and eventually Coosa County. due east here, but nevertheless, some heavy rain. Interesting too. There's no lightning within this, which is just again, as Riley and James have talked about, kind of indicative of the overall weakening trend here. And we'll continue to watch this, but within this line, we've seen these kinks very briefly. We saw up near Hueytown, back further into Bibb County and closer to the Mississippi state line. Within it, you'll just get these little very brief, broad spin-ups. As James has mentioned, praised the Birmingham office. We're very lucky to work with them because they make it a lot easier for us to pass along what is legitimate a concern versus not. And right now, the biggest concern is gusty winds. But we'll keep an eye on this. Again, this is just to the north of Clanton. So we zoom down. There's downtown Clanton. There's where this little feature is coming over. Let's see, County Road 249, County Road 55. So this is kind of getting into rural Chilton County there. But we'll watch this as we move forward. Doing a reset, looking at the big picture here. If you're in Birmingham, you're good. I mean, it's still probably pouring rain out there. There might be a decent amount of lightning, but you're probably clear of anything of significance there. Alabaster as well. Hoover area, looks like you're good to go. Really anywhere behind this line, if you look at it stretching from basically the Coleman, Blount County line through, eastern Jefferson, south to, Alabaster, 280 towards Chelsea, Harpersville, and then south to Clanton. If you're to the west of that point, you are essentially in the clear. It is going to keep raining, and there may be some rumbles of thunder tonight, but the lead edge, the edge in question, looks to be well past, and that is certainly a good thing, as we've seen a lack of reports with this coming into the downtown. So,
by the way, we're in trouble. Oh. The cat lovers, they want equal time. So let's XO5 real quick. Earlier I showed a picture of a dog watching our coverage, and the cat lovers want us to know that cats do indeed pay attention, like that guy right there. He almost looks agitated.
I'm about to say, he's irritated at you. He's looking the other way.
Yeah, he's got those ears going sideways. I mean, that's not good. But this guy's paying attention right here. I mean, he is focused in on those velocity colors. So dogs and cats are both watching, and we thank you for that. All right, we're now into Sunday morning here. It's 12:05. I'm James Spann. We have Evan Chickvera, Riley Blackwell here, and we are covering this line of storms coming through. And again, we're watching this little segment right here, which is the most interesting part. And again, this is one of these little rotations that pop up in the line from time to time. And this is Alabama Highway 145 right here. This runs up to Wilsonville. And this is about to cross over Lay Lake. This is Lay Lake on the Coosa River right here, and then cross into Talladega County. So we'll keep an eye on this thing and just see if anything comes of that. Again, there's a notch, and there's the inflow notch, and there's clearly kind of a suspicious look on radar. But again, I think the right thing to do is to hold off on any issuance of a tornado warning. You don't want to run your false alarm ratio and just go crazy where you're issuing warning after warning after warning where nothing happens, and that's crying wolf. But again, we'll watch that. But again, we stress that there's a warning in effect for Shelby and for Chilton, and these are severe thunderstorm warnings, not tornado warnings, but the main concern, damaging straight line winds. But I will tell you, the number of wind reports have been decreasing a good bit over the last hour or so. We'll see, had a report up in Athens of a good bit of tree and power line damage there. Got reports of trees and lines down across Alabama Highway 14 at Sawyerville. That's in Hale County for this segment that came through there. And that certainly makes sense based on the radar presentation we saw earlier today. Downtown Athens got hit pretty hard by straight line winds. Again, these are public reports. Trees on cars, air conditioning units in roads, roofs of buildings and roads. The courthouse, Limestone County Courthouse with damage, power lines and roads, and lots of debris. Again, that's a report from Athens up in Limestone County, which is up in the Tennessee Valley. But again, the storms continue marching on to the east, and the Weather Service is not issuing a warning for Blount, as you can see. That's the first county in the path of the line with no warning because the storms have simply weakened up and through here. And again, there's no surface-based instability up through here, and hopefully that will mitigate any issues. But the warnings do continue for parts, or all of Shelby and Chilton. But again, you're one and done. Once this thing passes, you're done with it. All right, so that's a That's a good thing. This is not going to be a deal where there are multiple storms coming up behind it. This one line and that's it. Sure, there's rain back there, but rain we can handle, and that's certainly a good thing. So the main concern really, it's shifting down here south of Birmingham, the segment coming through Shelby County down through parts of Chilton. And again, that'll be crossing the Coosa over into Talladega and Coosa counties here soon. With potential for strong straight line winds. But Evan, just 3 lightning strikes. Count them. 3.
How about you certainly could count them, and they continue to go down. We love to see that. If you guys are just joining us, I know it's been said before, but the lightning is usually, it's a good way for us to tell the intensity of either an individual storm or a line of storms. The more lightning you have, the more chaotic updrafts, downdrafts are happening within a storm. And that's usually a sign of a good structured storm. But when you see a downward trend of lightning strikes, again, there are some instances where it's not the case, but you typically are observing a weakening trend, and that's what we've seen. And one of the things we thought, today, if we get the rain beforehand, which we're praying for, we were like, all right, if we get these daytime showers, stabilize the atmosphere a little bit, and maybe that'll overcome some of the really strong, dynamic, that wind shear support that we do have, and it looks like that has helped out to some extent. So thought we'd switch over if you're just joining us here. A lot of people have asked, okay, what about the tornado watch? Fair point. A lot of folks, that's what you look for. You're like, I want to be clear to this tornado watch. I want to go to bed. So again, they've cleared Bibb County, Perry County, Tuscaloosa County, Walker County is clear, Cullman County is in the clear. Basically anywhere where you're not in the yellow, you are in the clear. So that is good stuff. Not saying it's done raining, but that is over with. Severe thunderstorm warning polygons continue for Chilton, for Shelby, and for parts of Jefferson. They have not extended that severe thunderstorm warning into Blount County, as James mentioned. That's the first county within this line where they've not extended it. But we pretty much said that's probably what's going to happen. It's not a very good-looking line or healthy line once you get up that far north. Obviously, clearly to us, the most intense part of the line is right here, from near 280, Chelsea coming into Harpersville. So heads up, Childersburg, Harpersville, eventually Sylacauga, if this can keep its momentum up. This is the strongest part of the line here. We'll switch on over to our velocity, because again, this helps us see within the line. And again, you still have this little hook. This is coming, right over the Coosa as we speak. And this will eventually be Hidden Valley, Quincy, Marble Valley, Gold Branch. And again, this little interesting feature here, but that's just about it. Starting to get these reports in from Shelby County down towards 280, and then lines down at Hickory Point in Helena. So this makes sense. We're seeing these down power lines, which again, not a great thing, but that makes sense coming in after this line has moved through parts of Shelby County. So that same system is moving towards Wilsonville here. Harpersville is going to be up next. Areas in east central Shelby County under that severe thunderstorm warning here. And even you see the lead edge of this where it's no longer defined. It's kind of broken up here. That stretch from Highway 20, basically right along paralleling Highway 25 here, out ahead of this main. That might indicate that this, we've seen a takeover in that downdraft, and it's starting to weaken there as well. So we'll enjoy seeing this weakening trend here. Of course, we're watching these damage reports come in, and the latest one I have is over there at Valleydale Road in Inverness. So going back to the big picture here, again, this line is now clear of most areas along I-65. In fact, even as far south as crossed over I-65, but really all of central Alabama here, it is now past I-65. So if you're to the west, essentially you're good. Areas to the east, we're still watching it. They have not extended the severe thunderstorm warning into St. Clair County. For what came through the Birmingham Metro, and that is right here, stretching from Clay south. Trussville, you're right in the midst of it. Very, very heavy rainfall. But the more and more I zoom in here, the less we see in terms of lightning strikes. I'll switch over to the velocity, and brighter colors indicate stronger winds. Duller colors in the green and the red indicate winds that aren't quite as strong. And this is really you're not seeing these peaks of strong wind gusts again that the history of this line had back into Mississippi. So we'll keep working down to the south. An interesting little broad feature there near Abbott Springs coming into Harpersville. Let's switch on over to our reflectivity and see if there's anything to that. And no, it doesn't look like it. Just it's a very heavy rainfall. This is coming right into Harpersville. So heads up 280. And again, I don't know, maybe you're running to the store really late at night. This is torrentially heavy rain and not fun to drive in by any stretch. So don't have to be out tonight. Obviously, that would be the ideal setup there. But this part of the line still producing some very heavy rainfall. including areas to the south. We'll go down to near the, let's see, Merrill Beach, Wildwood Shores. This is extreme southern Shelby County, right as you cross into Coosa, and then Talladega County coming into Talladega Springs. Switch over to the velocity here. And again, still has that bizarre notch. It's even more broad now than it was before. But, you know, we're likely not seeing severe level winds. If I'm looking at this, you know, very close to it. You know, you could have some wind gusts just north of Hidden Valleys coming right across. This is actually now across the Coosa, coming into Marble Valley, extreme northwestern parts of Coosa County. You might have a wind gust 40 to 50 miles an hour, which will wake you up. You'll hear that, but that's probably the most intense part of this line that we are indeed watching here at this point. So this is that weak. Okay, so the National Weather Service is watching that weak circulation that we just zoomed in on up near Harpersville. It's very convoluted within the reflectivity product, but then you get here and it certainly looks a little bit suspicious. Look at the difference though between, you know, that's looking at our velocity, so our wind direction with respect to the radar, and then you go to your reflectivity. I mean, what a mess. It's solid rain here. And this is, I mean, right over 280 between Westover and Harpersville here. So some good soaking heavy rain coming down here, County Road 450 right in the midst of that. But it looks like they're keeping an eye on this. And we've seen, you know, over the last 45 minutes or so, very brief rotation, broad rotation within the atmosphere. Nothing has come to fruition with it, at least to this point. But it's certainly something that we'll watch here. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at. I'll go back just a couple minutes here to see if there's any evolution of this. Okay, so some reports of trees down in Chilton County near Isabella High School, I believe. Riley's reporting that. Okay, County Road 15. So those familiar with that.
Let's take WEX 05 real quick. I think this is the most significant damage of the event in Alabama. This is from Athens, and there's been some very significant damage up in Limestone County in downtown Athens around the square and the courthouse. Parts of roofs are in the street. We've had cars with major damage. And again, there's a chance that one of the little spin-up tornadoes could have touched down in Athens earlier this evening. That was earlier. And again, these are coming from the Limestone County EMA. So again, this some of the most significant damage we've seen. Again, that's up in Athens and Limestone County, Evan. So could have been a small spin-up tornado right there in Limestone.
And that's, I think, the biggest concern, James, with the QLCS like this is you'll nothing, 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 and then all of a sudden you'll get a spin-up, sometimes between radar scans. And yeah, that's certainly that's not what you want to see there. Some pretty significant damage. So of course, any damage that's done, the National Weather Service, they go and survey that afterwards. And the National Weather Service continuing to watch the circulation near Harpersville and also in Coosa County. It's exactly like what James was just talking about up in Athens. Not the same thing, but a odd, quick spin up that could happen within a line. We'll go back to our storm relative velocity here, because at this point, no reports anywhere on the line. So looking within this with that, but it is a suspicious feature to say the least over here just to the north of Harpersville. But with this, you're probably just getting some very heavy rain and probably wind gusts that are sub-severe at this point. But again, this line, we got to watch it. It's the second you let your guard down that a night like this, a line like this will have something that'll catch you off guard. So just doing a reset, looking at the big picture here.
Just had a report of this report says I live a half mile south of the radar site in Shelby County. His peak wind gust was 26 miles per hour. So that's hardly anything there. So that's good. Again, Evan, in a minute, the Weather Service will have to decide, are they going to issue warnings onto the east of this line? They have not for Blount. They have not for St. Clair. And the question is, will they issue warnings for Talladega and Coosa? And we'll see. We got 5 lightning strikes, and based on the lack of reports, I'm not so sure. And remember, for these warnings to verify, you've got to have 58-mile-per-hour winds, and I don't know if we have anything like that right now. The storms are crossing the Coosa, Lay Lake, Lake Mitchell, coming over into Talladega and Coosa counties. And Evan, I'm not seeing any new warnings yet. Maybe they won't.
No, and this is another thing that Birmingham's really, really good about is, you wait, you observe, and, very, very good meteorologists that work down at the National Weather Service in Birmingham. And right now, the most suspicious part of this line is about to cross over into Coosa into Talladega counties. You know, you look further to the north, and we said this earlier about what was coming through Coleman, and now I can say, you know, what's coming through Springville, Margaret, Trussville, Leeds. If you live there and you're like, oh, how come you're not talking about our spot? If you're not being talked about, it's probably a good thing in coverage. You know, if you're being left out of the discussion, weather's probably sub-severe, or, you know, it can be loud. You know, as a kid, terrified of thunder and lightning. That was not fun. But as far as severe threats here to the north, that appears to have ended. Aniana, you're still having some heavy rain. Yeah, a couple lightning strikes between Aniana, Springville, Margaret, and Trussville. This is moving into parts of St. Clair County. So Asheville, Raglan, Pell City, eventually Lincoln, all these areas to the east. But as this line to the south, you know, intensifies, areas to the north are likely going to weaken. There's just not instability to be had in that part of the state. So with that in mind, areas to the north, you're not currently under a severe thunderstorm warning, like the areas I just mentioned. Those in the severe thunderstorm warning include Harpersville, Vincent, let's see, Wilsonville. As we move further to the south, they have not extended this for Talladega County just yet. That would include, if they do extend it, places like Childersburg, Sylacauga, Alpine, Talladega, but they are not in that warning as of now. We'll go back to the velocity here. And what we've talked about, if you're just now joining us, this has become more of a, is there a straight line wind threat with this? And that has been the predominant threat since moving into Alabama, though that threat has quickly weakened to some extent or become less threatening over the last couple of hours here. And looking into Talladega County, this doesn't look overly threatening to me. We still have this bizarre little notch here in the line, which, again, too broad. It's not a tornado signature, but you could get some strong wind gusts within there. We'll take a little pixel query here, and very similar to what we saw before is you know, winds at the very edge of this coming out of the storm, 45 to 50 miles an hour. Again, that's below severe. Part of the line, we'll switch over to reflectivity, and again, that's near Strickland Crossroads. This is extreme northwestern Coosa County, and this is actually probably going to move into southern Talladega County over the next few minutes. So see nothing from the National Weather Service that says they're going to extend this, and that's good news. So right now we've got basically one big polygon that includes Shelby County, includes Chilton County, and most folks in both of these counties are done with the severe threat with that particular storm, as it is crossing over the Coosa, that dividing line between the counties there. And again, still watching this unfold. I'm going to put this in a lapse so you can see how quickly this is moving. The rainfall totals with this are going to be, you know, on the higher end. This is a good rain producer, and we absolutely need that. Anytime we can get the rain without all the nonsense side effects is certainly a good thing. So continuing to watch. Oh, it looks like we've got, that's down for Lowndes County there, James, a tornado warning. I think that's a continuation of the one.
Right, that's the one coming out of Butler.
Okay.
In fact, let's look at that real quick. Again, a lot of folks are watching us in different parts of the state. So again, you can see that we have a tornado warning in effect now for the southeastern part of Lowndes County. This is for a thunderstorm complex that will be approaching Interstate 65, which is right here. So obviously we encourage nobody to travel along Interstate 65 south of Montgomery until this warning expires. So again, this is the one tornado warning we have in the state. This is for southeastern Lowndes County for the possibility of a tornado that would be in this region here, moving to the northeast. And again, if that happens to hold together, it could be close to Montgomery. But again, this is the Weather Service in Birmingham posting this. Let's check the velocity really quick to see if we can see anything. And again, it's you know, right in through here. These things come and they go. And I've said this a lot of times. When you got a QLCS late at night, you know, you try and whack these things. They pop up, they go away. They pop up and they go away. Issuing tornado warnings, it is very, very challenging. So just wanted to point that out. There's a tornado warning in effect down here for Lowndes County. And again, there might be a little lowering of the correlation coefficient right here. There might be a little bit of debris trying to be lofted. But again, it's pretty noisy down through there. I can't confirm that. But obviously, the air is more unstable down here across the southern half of the state. So let's go back to, not going to have any additional warnings here. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Cleared it.
We have no warnings for our part of central Alabama. So again, which means in a moment we can kind of conclude this coverage. We'll do some updates, but we're not going to stay wall to wall with no warnings at all, which is basically what we have. So again, the storms are weakening as they push into East Alabama. And the only warning we have for the northern half of the state is up here in parts of Madison, Jackson, and Marshall counties. And quite frankly, up there, it doesn't look that overly impressive, obviously. But I will say there was, I think the most significant damage of the event is going to be on the Courthouse Square in Athens, where we've had some major structural damage, and there could be a small spin-up tornado that touched down right over Athens earlier this evening. So there's a look at the high-top radar. And again, you can see right here, you see that little surge came right here, and it came right through Athens. So again, that's when that occurred. That was at 11:09 when the damage occurred there earlier this evening. So again, very significant damage around the Courthouse Square up in Limestone County, specifically in Athens earlier tonight. But again, down here, no warnings. So the plan is 12:30. That's in 7 minutes. We're going to go back to regular programming now. Evan is fresh. We have fresh legs on the team here. He's in, and he'll be watching this carefully. And should anything else happen, he'll be on the air. And of course, we'll stay on the air with you. But we have no warnings at all. And again, normally we don't provide wall-to-wall coverage with severe thunderstorm warnings. We thought just in this case it would be worth it, in that this was a very dynamic system with potential for a lot of tree and power line damage. But the line itself now stretches from near Aniana down into western St. Clair County, down toward Moody, down toward Wilsonville, Childersburg, into Coosa County. Then they're on top of Lake Mitchell, and this will be coming out across Anniston and Gadsden in about the next hour or so. But the storms continue to weaken. There's a little thunder and lightning, but not much. But remember, for a storm to be severe, you got to have 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater, or hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. And there's just simply no evidence in that, in what we see here, which is a good thing. So the plan is, in about 5 minutes, we'll wrap this thing up. And again, Evan will be monitoring carefully. Here's the tornado watch that remains in effect for East Alabama. You can see all the counties cleared. And again, for Birmingham, the threat of severe weather is ended. For Jefferson and Shelby, these counties will be taken out here fairly soon. But there's a tornado watch in effect for the eastern side of the state, technically until 4 a.m. The storm should be out of the state well before that. But again, we just see a good weakening trend. And with the lack of surface-based instability over here, it's going to be hard for these storms. And we should mention the dynamic sport is beginning to lift away. The shortwave trough is beginning to pull out to the northeast. And with that being the case, and the lack of surface-based instability, we would like to think that, again, we just won't have that many more major problems. Still, you'll have thunder, some lightning, gusty winds, heavy rain, but the storms are just under severe limits, which is a very good thing. And this is the first time we've had no warnings on the board for this part of the state in a while. It's been we've been on here for several hours, so that's a good thing. So again, we're going to wrap this thing up. Any last comments, Evan, before we wrap her up here?
Yeah, I just think that that rain we looked at out ahead of this line has really helped to really suffocate it, if that makes sense. These storms, they need something to feed off of. So of course, once we lose the daytime heating, heat, there's a source of energy. For the instability, surface-based at least, is absolutely mitigated by the fact that we just had this really steady rainfall out ahead of it. Alex City up to Lineville, Talladega, Anniston, even just a very light drizzle. It stabilizes that temperature profile to the point where we don't have that fuel needed to get that spark and really continue these storms. With that in mind, we've seen these little eddies within there. You think about like a river flowing, and occasionally you'll get a disturbance to the current. You'll get that little spin up, and we'll have to watch that line, this line indeed, for a brief spin up. Here's a new scan coming in, but still no warnings. Following very closely here with the part of the line. So if you're in Childersburg, if you're in Sylacauga, if you're in Pell City, and you see that we're about to hop off the air, it's going to still probably be very heavy rain. It might be windy. We've seen wind gusts, in that 20, 30, even 40-mile-an-hour range at times with this line, but that's below severe limits. And if we're not here, if we're not on the air, and there's not a warning, that's a good thing. That means we're not seeing overly strong storms in your neighborhood. So again, much weaker up in Blount County, in St. Clair County, a little bit more intense rainfall as you get down to Talladega County. This is right on top of Childersburg, and coming in, of course, to central Coosa County now as well. But that's it. If we're not on the air, that's a good thing. You don't have to see us. That means the weather has certainly calmed down. So Riley's here, of course. James we'll be paying attention to this as we move forward. As always, our folks in Birmingham, the National Weather Service, are very thankful for them and what all they do behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, they do a great job. So again, we're going to go back to regular programming here. So again, if you're in East Alabama, we're not ignoring you, or the storms are not severe. This is as weak as they've been for the entire event. We have no warnings in effect, and if we do, of course, we'll come back on the air and let you know. But at the moment, we just got kind of a gusty line of storms coming into East Alabama with some thunder and some lightning and gusty winds, but they are clearly under severe limits at this point, which is a good thing. Got a lot of tree and power line damage down over on the western side of the state from the storms earlier, but this whole thing is winding down, and this will be our last severe weather threat for a while. Now the attention turns to some pretty cold air coming in here in the next 1 to 2 weeks. It might be awfully cold by mid-January, and we'll talk about that in coming days. So for now, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. I'm James Spann with Riley Blackwell and Evan Chigvera. We'll see you soon.